of Boon's Bounty. We're going to be picking up directly where we left off last time, but for a quick recap. The group, having been encountered by the Thieves Guild, requesting they hand over the orb, said no, and continued on their merry way as the Thieves Guild seemingly left them be, despite not going along with the strange plan that the Thieves Guild put out in front of them. Spending a bit of time apart, Cass and Clive went off to Barovia to retrieve the small lodestones that they left behind, as well as check on the progress of the people they had led to the so-called Promised Land. There they found that the people were flourishing. It had been 15 years since they were last seen. And in these 15 years, the village had become a town with a population that was steadily growing. They were given the lodestones along with the sentient spear Lightbringer, who was being quite a capricious little bitch after being left behind by Minnow and demanding to go back.
Called out.
Wow. With lodestone and Lightbringer in hand, they returned to Barovia, or they returned to Sigil, but not before encountering an old, decrepit man within the in-between, having been transported there when they took the lodestones back into Barovia. Speaking to him, they learned that this realm that the lodestone took them to was called the in-between, and it was a place that shouldn't exist. But it was, and it seemed to be slowly growing. They then discovered that this old man was the fire god from the plane Eos. His name was Girpa. They assisted Girpa in escaping the in-between, and as he left the plane behind, tearing a small gap in reality so he could step through to return home, he promised them a favor if they were ever to visit Eos. They then returned to Sigil. Meanwhile, Minnow was pulled aside by her Aunt Ardania and given a brief talking to about the morality of following laws to the T, and how that might not always be the right thing to do. Minnow couldn't quite comprehend this in full, having grown up being told that the law was just and absolute. She was informed that she was supposed to be the moral compass for the group, and that the group was also supposed to wash off on her a little bit, introducing a bit of chaos into her life. Trying to parse this, Minnow left, going on a walk to find her own thoughts. Maria, Sybil, and Avori went to go visit Sybil's sister at the college, having given her a day to explore and examine the lodestone they had brought to her. Returning back, they found Phoebe and Professor Grundle performing some kind of strange experiment that went awry, leaving them wispy, half their people. Nonetheless, they were able to give the explanation of what this lodestone might be. And according to them, the lodestone seemed to be a method of traveling to a place called the In-Between. Once more, a land that should not exist. Something that should simply be the space between planes, not large enough for anything to exist. But things were beginning to exist there, and that's quite problematic. They decided to leave the lodestone behind, but also took the name Draconis Lear as someone they could go contact for some more information or just some general learning. Returning back to the Adventurers Guild, the group all met up and spent the night ruminating and then sleeping it off. The next morning, they regrouped to determine what the next course of action was. They determined that going to see the Thieves Guild was the better idea at the moment, but how they would see them was up in the air still. Sybil, realizing that she might know somebody who could give them some advice, went to go visit an old ex of hers, who was able to provide a bit of information about a neutral ground called the Dragon Twister. Oh God, where did I put the full name?
Dancing Dragon Twister Inn.
The Dancing Dragon Twister Inn. An inn located in the Wharf District of Sigil, where the astral sailors frequently made dock. This was a neutral ground due to the kind of chaotic nature of the energies that gathered there, and no one wanted to start shit when they didn't know what shit actually could do. But the group decided to go see Draconis Lear first. They went into this man's store and were swiftly greeted by a pale dragonborn with milky white eyes who made himself known very swiftly as the Pale Gaze, the guild leader of the Thieves Guild, telling them that they had so fortunately all but come into his lap.
That motherfucker!
So we're picking up with you guys standing around the store still, with this man, Draconis Lear, or the Pale Gaze, not quite looking at you, but standing behind the counter, nice crimson robes draped across his thin form, making him look more frail than he has in the past. Hands folded together as he sort of just stares out into the center of the room, seemingly blind. And he just says, "It's so nice that you've decided to join me. I did not expect this, but nonetheless, quite a welcome surprise."
Navori just takes in a breath and is like,
Maria's like looking at the address that she has written down, and she's like trying to double check it against the shop that they're in. Like, oh, are we in the wrong place again? I think we're lost.
I want to do something stupid.
Okay.
Please.
So, Sybil, who is disguised as a tiny gnome man, the likes of which this guy likely cannot see, just goes, "Oh, it appears I'm interrupting something," and turns around and just like, and closes the door, but she doesn't leave.
Okay. He doesn't stop you or react much to it other than, a customer decided to leave. Shame. Well, I suppose that's for the best, as we are left with just us now. I suppose I should make an introduction.
Sybil comes back in. "Wait, I've forgotten something."
Kramer's in.
Navori tries really hard not to laugh.
I'm sorry. I saw the opportunity and I had to take it.
So glad.
Well, little gnome man, you may find what you were looking for.
Yes, I'm just gonna go browse.
He's silent for a moment before. I am Draconis Lear, as I'm sure we're told.
Oh.
Yes, oh indeed.
I love Maria.
She's just conveying all her disappointment and confusion in one syllable.
This does save me the effort of finding you.
Well, fucking shit.
Alright. So, now let's hear what it is you actually want.
Ah, but we should not converse with this customer here.
Alright. Shopping.
If you... Yes. Young gnome man,
Yes.
what are you looking for?
Oh,
Perhaps-
just bits and baubles.
Unfortunately, we do not sell bits and baubles
Oh,
here.
well, the magic kind of bits and baubles.
Nor do we sell those. We sell very specific things here.
Oh. I can't keep this up as me. Oh, hello.
Yeah?
Okay, I lost you guys for a minute. I saw everyone light up and nothing.
Everyone just shrieked like,
Yes.
at the
Screaming.
same time, and you couldn't hear it.
Okay, well, the little gnome man, who's totally not civil, says, "Oh, well, don't mind me. I just want to browse. If you have other business to do, I could just have a look around."
Sounds senile.
Sir, I will have to ask you to conduct your business now or leave.
Where's the door again? These shelves are so high, it's so easy to get lost. I'm a little mad.
Would one of you be so kind as to help my guest find the exit?
Yeah, Maria will, just mosey on over there and be like, just follow me, yes.
Your hair's very white. How old are you? You look young.
I don't know. Are you ready?
Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know how old I am either.
You look venerable.
Thanks.
Draconis is just sitting here this whole time, a syringe on his face. Patient.
It's psychological warfare.
We're breaking them down a little.
Abbott and Costello routine.
So I assume that what happens is Mario leads Sybil to the door. The door closes, the door opens, and then Sybil walks in and goes, "Hey guys, what's up?" Oh.
Mari just holds her hands over her face because he doesn't want to just start cackling.
Holy shit. Maria's
check
visible
something.
eyebrows
Oh,
twitching.
let me check something!
Fuck.
Oh god. What were you using again? Disguise self.
And her great acting skills, yes.
If you can see through that,
Okay.
the fact that he would just play along.
Yeah, he's going to. Miss Harker, you do realize that spell does not mask your footsteps.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I mean, I was trying to step real lightly.
Yes, but a gnome's feet are much
You still
smaller
went
than a
along with it,
human's.
though. Why'd you
Oh.
go along with it?
It was amusing.
Yeah. Thanks.
The Mari just starts cracking up. She can't deal with it anymore.
Now, yes, you have found my legitimate business. Would you care to discuss my business or the Pale Gazer's business?
Let's start with your business first.
Ah, well then, what are my gracious customers looking for?
Oh, that's business.
I thought you meant, like,
Personal
had
business.
business.
Ah, well, then that works too. And he gives a little wave of his hands, and you hear the door lock.
The door had already locked. It's just they got a way out, and then they fucked
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah, no, the door locks, and you hear the shutters on the window close. Not like slam shut, but they kind of creak shut.
Sybil tries to open one.
It's stuck pretty fast.
Okay.
Well, first, I must apologize. for the strange and bizarre method that my compatriot Churning Waters tried to coerce you with some time ago. It seems we underestimated you and presumed you to be your average idiot adventurers.
Unfortunately for you, or your not average idiot adventurer.
Well, I mean,
He cracks a smile.
you know, I think that's debatable.
Oh no, most adventurers would be dragged into a fight the moment that the scent of one came to them. 'Tis a rare bunch that simply says, no, we won't fight, and then leaves.
I mean, we were having a hard day, and it was supposed to be my day off. I don't fight during my days off.
Nonetheless, you have my apologies for the rather uncouth nature of that encounter. Now, Madam Paladin, I shall not apologize for the treatment you received from us, but I do not think you expected one or would accept one, no?
I guess it's just she's been silent this entire time. She's waiting for him to get to the point.
So then we can beat him up.
Yeah, pretty
Basically.
much. That's the
But what
kind
if
of person.
we want you to apologize to Cass?
Well then, I will apologize. You do have my apologies, because once more we presumed you to be your average intelligence adventurers, who simply did not know what they had on their hands.
So, finding us not stupid as anticipated, you've decided to try a different tack, but what is it that you want so badly to keep pursuing?
Oh, but let me correct you. I did not try a different tack. You found my shop. That is a coincidence.
Ah.
But I do desire the lodestone, or I did. It is within safe keeping now. And thus I am satisfied for the time being.
Okay, so like, why did you want it in the first place?
To keep it safe?
And?
Nothing else.
To study, perhaps. You see, I do believe my guild has a bit of a bad reputation based on the name alone. It's a shame.
Yeah,
No,
the,
that's
threatens-
a reputation you've built yourself.
the threats to beat us up in an alleyway aren't really helping either.
Again, my apologies. Most adventurers are brutes that would gleefully take that on. The language of adventurers is the language of violence more often than not. We simply speak it. I digress, though. My group is aware of this lodestone and the potential it has, and we do not think it to be a good thing if it fell into hands that may use it unscrupulously.
Devori just has this look like she opens her mouth and she sort of gestures, but she doesn't say anything.
I take it
And
your
she
hands are
furrows her
plenty
brows.
scrupulous.
Yeah.
Oh, no. In this case, we would rather not see creation come to an end. Bad for everything, really.
Business included.
On that, I
Oh,
can
yes. You see, the Thieves Guild, there is stealing involved, but we also act as the underground arm of the authority within Sigil. Better to call in a bunch of thick-armed toughs than the cops. The Lady of Pain is quite unforgiving when she arrives, after all.
Okay. Alright. I have things that I want to say. One, I kinda buy it because it's the Thieves Guild and you can't have things if there are no things. That's literally how you spell nothing. Anyway, two, how the fuck do you know about the lodestone in the first place? Not like because we talked about it in the Adventurers Guild, like duh, obvious, but like in general.
I assume that has to do with your connection through the Magisterium.
Not quite. You see, we were contacted by a specific woman known as Christine Hawken. Tell us that she had an object of significant power and would like to trade it within Sigil.
Whoa, wait a sec. What the fuck? You know... Okay, keep going. Navori looks like she has some thoughts, but she doesn't actually want to necessarily tell this guy, so...
She'll catch up with herself, like, as the conversation goes.
But yes, she contacted us and informed us she would like to trade. And we were interested. Our contact spoke to her about the properties of this, and based on what she said, and the resources we have at the Magisterium, put two and two together.
So you ain't known about it for very long, I'm taking.
No, not at all.
Alright, here's my thing. Anyone can, like, interrupt me with this, but I don't want the rest of your merry band of thick-armed whatevers getting at that, because maybe you at the head don't want bad shit to happen, but I don't trust everyone else, because you're already gonna have access to the fucking thing if it's in the Magisterium.
I assure you, Churning Waters and I are the only two that are aware of its existence.
I don't like her.
Yes, well, unfortunately liking isn't necessarily important for doing business, isn't that right, Lady Paladin and Madame Triton?
Guest continues to wait.
Are you implying that Minnow and Cass don't like the rest of us? Because I assure you, we're best friends.
No, I'm simply saying that they have encountered many people they don't like, but
Oh,
they
I
put
mean-
up with regardless.
I ain't never done business with Treading Waters, and I don't ever intend to. I know people.
That you do.
Sybil stands there petulantly.
But yes, we wish to keep it safe as well as study it.
So, if you're content with it being safe within the Magisterium, then why are we here?
Oh,
Because we walked in.
yes,
I
that is, again, wholly of your own volition.
I mean,
It is a bit fortuitous, though.
yes, I assume you still want something.
Well, perhaps some help.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we are trying to investigate this, and what we have found is it is going to indeed destroy everything. Not a matter of if, but a matter of when. And I deliver this plainly because it is true, whether you wish to accept it or not.
And I
And-
presume you're looking for a way to prevent this?
Yes. We have had contact with a handful of people. Or perhaps just information, if you will. Provide some clues. And since you are adventurers, you have access to resources that my friends that I do trust would not.
Back to the trading thing.
Mm-hmm.
What was it that she wanted?
Passage.
To where? Here?
Sigil. Yes,
Did you give it to her?
absolutely not.
Okay, well, she got here anyway, just so you know.
Huh. Well, it is a good thing that you got to her before I did, no?
I mean, to be fair, there's a door.
It's a bit more tightly controlled than I think you know. Sigillians are free to come and go, but natives from other planes often are not allowed to simply waltz in. Present company excluded, of course. Some of you, at least.
Okay, you know somewhat about this thing. do you know if it could have any, like, aside from, slowly destroying everything, if it could do something in Sigil that it could not do where it came from?
I do not know. I do not know if I care to know.
Well, you see, we were under the impression that she absolutely did not want to get rid of that thing. So,
I mean, maybe she
wanted
lied.
to trade it is sort of weird.
Didn't
Or
her,
perhaps
didn't
she
her
was
journal
lying to
suggest
us.
that she did want to get rid of it and she was becoming afraid of it?
But it also suggested that she was, like, obsessed with it, and she wanted it there for weird experiments, so I don't fucking know.
Well, it's not like we can ask her.
Sanity is passing.
Indeed, it is likely that she was lying after.
Weird.
So
Okay.
do we have a date on everything becoming nothing? Like, a rough timeline?
Not as of yet. It will likely require incursions to determine the entropy, but it's a bit of a bad idea to send people there.
Sybil nods like she knows what that means. Makes a pensive sound, like, yeah, I know what the fuck entropy is.
It seems that being there for a significant period of time without proper protections does drive one insane. Steals the very grey matter in your brain.
Wonderful.
Yes, I am sure.
Uh,
Well,
so
I hope that you did not experience this.
That's Navori's response.
it's going to be hard to determine. What is it that... Do you have some sort of breadcrumb trail for us to follow?
Oh, well. There are a few items that the Thieves Guild has tendrils reaching out to gain insight on, and at least 2 of them are a bit difficult for us to reach to without drawing attention, and we would rather not have people look into our affairs.
Cass is like her. It's really hard to tell, but she's listening a little more closely after his word choice.
Yeah, Navori squinted at that too.
What?
Accidental or otherwise.
Yeah, tendrils.
Okay, Justine's computer just blue screened. Hold on.
Oh,
neat.
good.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, reboot it. Oh, good. Well, hit the button. It was good. I'm just gonna stand here in the hallway and watch and see what happens.
Welcome to IT life.
Yep. Windows might just need to be reinstalled.
Oh my god.
Huh? Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we're just gonna wait 5 minutes. Yeah.
What is it doing?
It's just rebooting.
Oh.
Right now there's the spinning circle, which is always a bad sign.
Was it, perhaps it...
always happen during D&D?
Right.
That one time...
Yeah. Oh, it's doing something. Oh, yep, there you go. You finally disconnected. Oh, it's just a nice black screen. Oh. There you go. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Exciting real-time updates.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll be back in a minute. So Cass and Avery honed in on a bit of that wording.
Yeah.
Okay. Give it a few minutes for her to get back on. I bought cheap. Oh, yep. Ugh. Oh, I just saw that she said you guys are below average. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're
I mean,
gonna take Maria's fucking mentor pin away from her. Or worse, upgrade her.
She's gonna get her little Burger King crown taken away.
Shadow!
Oh yeah, poor Minnow. This is like, hey, we literally can't be the law because the law sucks here, and she's like,
Pretty much.
so we kill the Minnow. We give her a heart attack.
Jesus.
Poor Minnow.
No, it's fine. I love it. She's just controlling an urge to like throw down.
Just throw down for
The
no
law.
reason.
In the name of the law.
Yeah,
In the
you're
name
under
of the
arrest.
law.
For what?
Yeah.
I don't know, but you're under arrest.
You should do
Who's
some
gonna
bad things.
arrest them?
Exactly. She's thinking.
Citizen's arrest.
Yeah.
It's fine. Cass would
No.
go along. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
just be like, yeah, that checks out.
Cass would be like, it's a reason.
Not completely out of nowhere, so I'll go with it. I'll accept it. Oh, I don't see her back on Discord yet.
Oh no.
Do I need to go stand in the hallway again and observe?
Channel.
Radiate.
I'm gonna go. I'll be right back while we're waiting.
Okay.
My friend's puppy is a total lap dog, and it's weird.
Oh.
Like, he doesn't want to play, he just wants to be held.
Precious.
Yeah. They have to get him used to not being around people in the middle of the night, though, which that's always the worst.
Oh yeah.
Leave him in the room and listen to him cry while close the bedroom door.
Yep.
People who do that are monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could never, I was never able to successfully do that with any puppy I had. That puppy immediately came to bed with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I tried for a while to put Ether in her crate overnight, and I was like, you know what, fuck.
It just breaks your heart.
Yeah, my friend's trying real hard to train this puppy. Which, like, good for him.
Oh, and now that Ether's older, like, she'll just go sleep in her crate on her own.
Yeah. It's so hard when they're babies.
Apparently,
okay.
yeah.
Swear to God.
Apparently, when they told the owners that they wanted him, they said thank God because he kept getting bullied because he was really pathetic.
Baby.
His siblings would just bully him because he was just such a little suck dog that he just wanted to, like, hang out. He doesn't want to be played with. He'll play, but he just largely wants to exist near you, and that's it.
One of my acquaintances rescues strays down in El Paso, Texas, like trap and release, to get them fixed and stuff. And they have this great big sweet Tom who's like missing an eye, and they can't put him back out because he's so friendly that the other cats just beat the shit out of him. So he just needs to get adopted, and I'm like, I want to fly this cat to California.
Yeah, I love eyeless cats.
Yeah, me too. Sucker for a hard luck case.
Yeah. All right. Is Kyle still away?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah. Apparently the dog, he looks round, but he's just fluffy. Yeah, they took him to the vet to get his shots today, and... Oh, did it just happen again? I just heard screaming.
Oh no.
I heard the
What?
tail end of this.
Shit.
What is that? Oh. Okay, I thought that was like your computer fucking up. Not like just Firefox saying, oh no. Alright, she's
Using
rebooting her
Firefox.
computer again. She's rebooting again. But yeah, he looked really round and fat, but they just said, no, that's just Fuzz. He's just a fuzzy boy.
That's so cute.
Too precious.
They named him Zach.
Zach!
The name is really dorky. Because, so he's all black with a little white diamond on his chest. and my friend named him Zach because the white diamond makes him think of the Black Power Ranger.
I was just gonna.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
that's cute.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's left us again.
Yeah. She manually rebooted her computer this time.
Well, we've
It's
not
always during D&D.
Hmm.
That's so weird.
we've not had severe technical difficulties for a while, so
Yeah.
They
True.
always culminate on Et though.
Mhm.
Yeah. Kyle, how's your puppy doing?
Oh, she's good. Where'd she go?
She was right.
Oh, I have a
She was
wireless
around
headset
the corner.
again. Oh,
Nice.
She's fine. She's a little brat, but she's fine.
that's good. Oh, I got a wireless headset again. I can never go back. I like being able to pace.
I keep thinking about getting one, but I'm really attached to my fancy fucking desk mic.
Heh.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
wow,
That's-
Shadow.
It's true though, yeah.
Nina laughed
Yeah.
first.
I did.
I'd like to get like a snowball or a blue yeti at some point, which
Yeah.
would keep me sitting, but
I have the Blue Yeti. They're really fucking nice. But yeah, you do gotta sit in front of them.
I wouldn't mind. I don't mind sitting for D&D. It's really just there's a problem when it's like, man, I want to go to the kitchen, but I'm listening to music and I don't want
Yes.
to take my headphones off.
Yeah, I would like a pair for just being on calls and stuff. It would be nice.
Yeah. I paid like $120 for these. And they're nice, so whatever.
Oh, what's the brand?
Steel Series.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I'm a little bummed that you can only really get like gaming.
Mm-hmm. So you're paying
Stuff
for the
for-
name too.
Yeah, because it's like I want a wireless headset that has an okay mic and has side tones so I can hear myself.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, only gaming headsets have that because everything else is made for phones and is less kind of crap.
Yep.
So weird.
I've been
My
using the
computer-
same Sennheiser headset since like 2011.
Oh yeah, those things last
Yeah.
forever.
Sennheiser though.
This thing is at the end of its rope.
At last.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
8 years is pretty long.
Yeah.
I mean, I got my money's worth out of it, which
Yeah.
damn well better have. These were like $250.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
$250, $250 8 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so according for inflation.
$400 million.
Yeah. She's gone for a suspiciously long amount of time right now.
concerned.
Yeah. Big concern.
Doing a concern.
Yeah. I might go see what's going on.
I was just gonna say, could you
Okay.
check and see that she has not
Yeah.
fallen over?
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Hey.
Please, for the love of God,
Yeah.
please. We have to give it a moment because it did freeze immediately
Oh.
after coming in. And I had to
Goodness.
restart again. Did you guys remember to mute the... Oh.
What?
That's a dog.
That's my dog.
Oh,
Did
well.
you Did you remember to mute the stream, or have you guys just been
Oh
bullshitting
no, I've
live?
just been leaving it on, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Candid.
Candid.
Okay. I'm gonna try to start Firefox and
Okay.
see if everything works, but
What? Alright, so I'm like, why are you using Firefox though?
well, it was, yeah, there was a reason. Like, stuff just wasn't working in Google, and I got sick of it, so I moved to Firefox.
Alright, that's fair.
Yeah. Now it's just like, that's where all my bookmarks are, and I want to move them.
I'm pretty sure there's like an import function, but
I
yeah.
know. I know.
That is
I'm a lazy ass bitch.
that is still a half a dozen clicks, you know. And that is valid now. I had a conversation.
Takes a second of effort, and that's a second too long for me.
I'm totally serious too. We have a UI designer where I work now, and I had a conversation with them about how like it's a big part of UI and UX training to minimize clicks because those matter these days.
Yep.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think
People
I
get
think
lost if
everything
you
is
ask
working.
for 3 instead of 2 clicks.
Oh yeah.
You need to get
Yeah.
back and roll 20 Ep.
I'm getting there. It's loading.
Not fast enough.
Loading.
Jeez Louise, give me a break.
Oh my god, you've been hanging out around me too much. Jeez Louise.
Roll20 is just stuck in a perpetual load. I feel like I'm in like a special, like not hell, just like the second,
Yeah.
where you're
The
trying
annoying
to
one.
play a D&D game, but you can't.
Yeah, it's just
Special
annoying.
purgatory.
It's like you have a very special sort of hex on you that only
Yeah.
allows you to like do things on the internet normally when you're not playing D&D.
Yeah, have
Yeah.
you tried like sage blasting your computer?
Get out, evil spirits!
Yeah.
Get out! You're not welcome
Can
here!
you get some rose quartz and put it on your CPU?
Oh my god. I'm gonna charge it in the
Gotta
moonlight and
cleanse.
shove it in the USB.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't there that super blood moon coming up?
Yeah, it's tonight.
It's
yeah.
tonight.
Oh yeah.
That's why
in,
my
like,
computer
2
is working. The
hours.
demon
Fuck.
living in my computer.
Oh, shit.
Something
doesn't
evil
want me
is
to play
being born. It's gonna hit single digits and a supermoon eclipse.
It's gonna shove its hand through the monitor like Freddy
Oh my
Krueger
God.
in A
Hang
Nightmare
on.
on Elm Street and
I gotta
choke
go.
me out.
I gotta go get my rosary and say a fucking novena.
Okay, I'm back though.
Okay, so let's get back into D&D.
Alright.
Everyone here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Kyle, you there? I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So where was I?
Fuck.
It's that
Well,
10
Right,
Oh,
yeah,
items.
yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, he had just said, the Thieves Guild has tendrils within other realms, but they do not have the resources to go retrieve them without drawing attention that they do not want.
Right now, and Kess is now scrutinizing him from beneath her helmet.
Yeah, Maria feels bad for reasons she can't put a finger on.
Sybil is looking at Minnow and Kess, just between them, her head turning to the left and the right, and the left and the right.
There's some scrutiny going on here, that's all. It's a little bit of scrutiny. It's fine.
Okay.
Vibrating intensifies.
Yeah.
Sybil puts a hand on Minnow's shoulder, placatingly.
But yes, there are a handful of artifacts that would allow us to better investigate the in-between and perhaps survive for a period of time. The lodestone is one relic that will allow traversal, but not to protect. One of the objects we are seeking is located in a plane of water.
Maria's eyebrow
Don't-
goes up.
We do not quite know what it is, but there is word of something in the in-between manifesting there, and the thieves do not have much of a presence. The Triton do not appreciate us very much there.
Hey, the plane of water is a big place, right? Like, anywhere specific?
I believe somewhere near the city of Duher.
Sybil looks at Minnow.
Yeah. No
Sybil's
worries.
just actually been watching Minnow, honestly.
Minnow probably had this look of like, damn right, Tritons have a paw in that plane and you're not gonna have your heathen hands and lights out.
It's like the sports team just scored a point.
Well, I would say that with her looking a little more disgruntled, then yes, she knows where that is. Angry.
There's also another in Eos, and we have very small information there. Though we do have a presence, it's a bit strained these days. There was another in the Feywild, but our contact was indisposed when we last tried to make contact.
Sybil kicks Nobori before she can say anything.
Yeah, she wasn't gonna say anything. She just made a sound.
I believe it was by your hand that the Archfey of Mischief fell.
You don't have any proof.
There's no accusation here.
But
I simply state my beliefs.
it's not what
I don't
you said.
particularly
It was the
care.
way you said it.
It was very judgmental.
I don't particularly care that Skalia's passed. He was a bit of an asshole. And working with him was a pain. The only shame is that whatever knowledge he had passed with him.
Sybil just kind of stays quiet. It's a palpable silence.
There is also reason to believe that divine intervention is needed, the in-between, to stave off whatever insanity tries to set in, and as I'm sure you can imagine, that is quite difficult for people of my caliber. Not necessarily a pious group, are we?
Navori has somewhat of a smirk and is internally like, yeah, you're a bunch of shits.
Sorry, she's very mature.
So... Huh. Well... We're probably gonna have to decide this one as a group. Maybe put it to a vote. I mean, when do you want an answer on this assistance thing?
We do not necessarily expect an answer. It's quite frankly, if you return with something, all the better. If not, we expect nothing.
Would you
Okay.
like to give us a list of the contacts you have in these various places we could get a hold of, should we be interested?
Yeah, and like what the things are precisely?
That would be quite helpful.
Well, that is another matter entirely.
Oh?
If you wish to use our contacts, you will be under our employ, in whatever capacity that may be.
Oh.
Navori squints real hard!
As for the items, we scarcely know. We simply know that they tend to cause a bit of strife wherever they may be.
Great. Right, okay. So who are your contacts?
We can't know unless we join the Thieves Guild.
Oh, okay. I mean, you said that.
Not necessarily join. Simply enter a partnership of sorts.
With what term
Joining
of
is not-
contract?
Oh, well. That's a bit complicated.
Simplify it.
You gain access to our resources, to a capacity. In return, you are expected to undertake business that we deem necessary.
Navori does not look happy with this.
I am. Kess walks out the door.
Yeah,
I
you know.
kind of
Okay.
Like she,
Yeah.
yeah, she walks out the door. Like that's nope.
Yeah, Navori kind of looks at Cass like, fuck yeah, Cass.
Yeah,
just smiles
listen,
and,
hey,
yes.
we got our hands full, we're working for one organization, you know how
And
it is.
ostensibly saving the universe.
Anyway, yes, I did expect that answer.
Good.
You are
Right,
free to
well,
go.
yeah, I'm gonna go follow Cass before one of your weird freaky deaky bitches ties her up again. And Sybil leaves.
Well,
Yeah, I think
far
we're
be it
just
from
gonna.
me to make inappropriate comments.
I think we're just gonna do what we want.
By all means. You have given me what I want, and from here on out, anything else is extra.
Devori does that thing where she squints. she points at her eyes and then points at his eyes and then she turns to walk out.
Wide
Yeah, she does the
Yeah.
Sokka.
Yeah.
One try.
Leave, you insensitive ass.
eyed.
You can't
Oh,
see.
yeah.
She doesn't
Yeah.
care.
It's funny to the rest of them.
Yeah.
He knew enough that Sybil was a gnome man, so it's good enough for her.
He can get some sense of it. It's fine.
The internal like I'm watching you vibe.
He can feel the judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you guys all just leave?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, he doesn't make any attempt to stop you, and when you do leave, the shutters, the window, creak back open.
As Sybil tries to catch up to Cass, she goes, "Hey, Cass, we didn't do the thing you didn't want us to do. I'm just letting you know."
Cass is waiting like right outside the door, like on the other side.
Oh, well, she does that anyway, but stops
Yeah.
short when she sees Cass.
Yeah, fuck that. I wouldn't have done it anyway.
Good.
It seems like a complication to everything else.
Well, not only that, but like, if we were under their employ or what the fuck ever, they could tell us what to do, and they'd probably expect us to give them all the things that we find.
Guys, this is the biggest commitment that I've taken on in my life, and it's already giving me anxiety. I can't join the Thieves Guild.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we know where to start.
Hmm.
Indeed.
And she looks at
Yeah.
Minnow and she's like, and we have a guide.
And
Nice.
whatever we find can.
I think you cut out.
Oh, good. Good. Thank you, microphone. She said she's like very current, arms crossed, and just huffy. But well, good. And whatever we find can go to the magistrate instead.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's still gonna get his hands on it, but at least it's just him.
And
I
it's...
want the whole last Thieves Guild getting their hands on it.
Me fucking neither.
Hmm. Alright, so we're decided we're going to go to the plane of water first, yes?
Yeah, Minnow, that place that was mentioned, is that anywhere near your home?
That is my home.
Shit. Okay, we gotta get there real fast.
Ooh, is it pretty? What's it like?
Very pretty. It's very pretty. Well, Aunt Ardonia told me the other day that and she's like gonna be quiet. I assume they're like shuffling away from.
Yeah, they're probably...
walking and talking.
Okay,
Back to the
but
Adventurers Guild.
we've had problems with cultists there for the past. And she catches herself and just a number of times. There's been cultists that attack our home.
Cultists?
Yes.
You think it has something to do with the, you know...
You know, probably.
Possibly.
Do you have a description of their proclivities?
Max, would she?
Very vague. Minnow was kept out of that conversation as much as possible.
Yeah.
She would know that they were searching for something, and were doing so very indiscriminately, with no care to what was in their way, and weren't exactly subtle or kind about looking.
They were cruel in their efforts. I don't know what they like entirely. I wasn't in any sort of command to be privy to that sort of information, but I can say they were cruel
Wait.
in whatever they were trying to search for.
Do you think Aldania knows anything?
She might.
Okay, well, if they were looking for something, that's cotton.
That's a pointed finger, yes.
Yeah.
It's enough for what we've been through lately, yes?
I should think
yeah.
so.
Furthermore, I wonder if it's affecting the thing is affecting more than just the area. If it's affecting people there.
I mean, also maybe some people just want to be nothing. Like, you don't ask to be something, you just become it. Anyway, I know the two people that I want to talk to, so I'm gonna do that when we get to the Adventurers Guild.
Navori kind of looks at Sybil like that wasn't what she meant, but she's not gonna say anything.
Alright, if no one's going to do anything else, you guys do come up on the Adventure Guild, sometime later. Having been walking and talking this over, you step forward and enter the Adventurers Guild, a place that you are wholly familiar with, whose atmosphere seems as unchanging as ever. In some ways, it is nice and homey. It's no wonder that there are people that make this their one and only home, as the area is warm and there's the rowdy crowd that there always is, and the constant presence of Ardania is now joined by the presence of Sybil's mother, the two not quite looking begrudgingly at each other, but occasionally shooting mom glares.
My favorite part about this is that I've told you Sybil's mom's name multiple times, and she's just Sybil's mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Sybil's gonna have a look around. Is Benedict also there?
Make a perception check.
Cool, I will do that. A 3.
It's very difficult to hear or see anything in particular in the din and thriving atmosphere of the
Okay,
guild.
well, I'm gonna do something stupid because I love doing that. Sybil's just gonna hop up on a table and go, fuck!
You hear come from somewhere in the guild, that's not a word you should be saying!
Buddy! So, I figure someone's gonna talk to Ardania, and Sybil's gonna talk to Benedict, and we can do that in whatever order. I just had to have her get on a table and yell fuck, I'm sorry.
So, yeah, who's gonna talk to Ardania? And who wants to be present for Benedict?
Minnow will go and talk to her once.
Okay.
Mario will go
That's
with.
so strained.
Mario
Yeah.
will go with to see Ardania as well.
Navori's going with them too.
Cass is just gonna sit down at a table. Everyone else can explain their predicament. She's
tired.
yeah.
Is Clive going to join Cass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, sorry if I take a while to answer. Sometimes my dog is being an absolute little monster at the moment.
It's cool.
Full on rascal.
Yeah. Alright, so, Sybil, as your friends head off to speak to Ardania, you see the shining beacon of goodness that is Benedict come sauntering through the crowd, saying excuse me half a dozen times as he has to push his way through, offering many apologies in different languages.
Nice, cultured.
Before he approaches and crosses his arms across his tin-plated chest and... Lady Sybil!
Well, what happens is a bit of an awkward thing where he goes to cross his arms, but Sybil's going in for the handshake, but then she tries to, like, kind of redirect it and just, like, clap his arm. and she's like, oh, if it isn't my favorite boy that isn't in my party, how you doing?
I'm great! I was just recounting the tale of the time that I defeated Dread Lord Haku.
Yeah, I mean, you've been to so many places, you must have so many stories.
Ah, yes, it was my first enemy that I ever vanquished. It was
Yeah.
a fantastic battle.
Listen, you're gonna have to tell me that one, but I am on some pertinent business. Do you know anything about cults in the plane of water? Because I feel like if there's anyone to ask besides Ardania, it's you.
I don't know where your logic's taking you, but...
You've been to a lot of places.
That... I am well-traveled, that's
You
for
are.
sure.
And you're a cultured guy. Yeah.
Ha! Cultured cult.
Yeah.
Right! I don't know much about cults. Not in the plane of water. There are cults everywhere. They can worship anything from rocks to coral reefs to your mother. I mean...
Let's hope not.
Yes, let's hope not indeed.
I didn't really take you for your mama joke kind of guy, Benedict.
I take them where I can get them.
Uh-huh. Alright. Okay.
But yes, I don't know much about any specific cult, I'm afraid.
Alright.
Unless you're speaking of the cult of Takuwaku that I helped vanquish in my younger years.
Taku.
Oh, you know, maybe. And what happens is, I think Sybil listens to that.
Okay,
Like, I don't think she's actually gonna stop him.
so... The story he tells you is so outlandish that you're not sure if he's being honest or not.
Uh-huh. Can I roll an insight check?
You totally can.
Okay. 16.
He is being so earnest.
Oh, I
In
knew
about-
it!
There was flight involved. He was 16. He found a magical sword that glowed with light. It was awesome.
Sybil is completely removed from the fact that they have to save the world and is just enraptured.
And that goes on for a solid 45 minutes.
Yup.
The rest of you guys, as you see Sybil settling in for what is very clearly going to be a long story, it's just one of those
You
times...
say settled in, but she's like elbows on the table, leaning forward, like, uh-huh,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
settled in, as in, like, she's
Yeah.
just ready to be there for... Yeah, you look and you can see that Benedict has the look of a man that's just gonna keep going for some time. So you turn and you see Ardania staring distantly before looking and catching you guys, and... Oh, hello!
Navori waves.
Hello, Aunt Ardania.
Minnow? Is there anything you need, or...
Navori looks at Minnow.
I'm afraid I don't have any jobs for you at this precise moment, though I've got something coming on the pipeline, I think.
Oh, that's
Something.
alright.
Oh, just a job.
We actually might be making plans to go home.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. Is it due to the news from your sister?
I wish, partly so, but, well, there's business there. You were speaking about the cultists last time we spoke. Would we be able to talk a little bit more about that?
I am happy to share what I know. And I've got a few minutes right now. What is it precisely that you're talking, or you're asking of? We've got plenty of news.
Any general information about the behaviors of these cultists? What they might be after, as a matter of fact? How they operate?
And if they look like worms.
Yes. That might also be helpful.
I unfortunately, my brother doesn't share much information in the way of looks. I don't think he particularly cares how enemies look. They are ravenous. They seem to be searching, or from what I heard, they have found something, as they recently summoned a creature that the army is fighting back. It is a marked improvement, as now they know where these folks are holed up.
Sorry, army? How organized are these cultists? How many are we talking about?
She looks over at you, Minnow, and... oh, several thousand. It's quite the army. Minnow's father here and her brother were helping to organize the front against them.
This is a little more large scale than I anticipated.
Do you know what the creature was that they called? It is like weird, horrifying abomination thing.
Unfortunately, Remus hasn't told me anything about the looks.
Okay.
Psst, is it Remus or Remus?
You know what? Remus sounds way better.
Okay.
From what I wrote.
I was like, it could be either.
Yeah, no,
She's
that's
only
Remus.
said it like once, it can change.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long has this conflict been going on?
Oh. Minnow, how many years has it been now?
Oh god. Aversion, I didn't think about that shit. Or time. No more than a decade.
Yes, a decade. That sounds about right. I suppose it began right before I left.
And what is it that these cultists want?
If only we knew.
What is it that they're doing? You say that they're ravenous, but ravenous for what?
They were searching for something. Again, I don't know what, and they were content to burn and destroy anything in the path.
I see.
Do they take people hostage by chance?
What invading army doesn't?
So I take it there's never been a parley or a discussion. They've simply been the aggressors this whole time.
There has been attempts. In fact, Nelda's tried recently, Minnow. It did not go well, apparently, but they tried right before the summoning.
Is he safe?
From what I understand, yes. He came back a little worse for wear, but do you know your brother?
I do.
Navori looks pensive, which is a weird expression for her to have.
I will say If you're planning on going home, it won't be quite as simple as just walking in.
Oh.
It is a bit of, well, not a war zone, but a bit controlled, but there's always escorts, and there's a researcher from the Magisterium that wishes to be escorted to Duhearth.
Under official business would be the way to travel.
That is what I'm saying.
I see.
You would be expected to report to the Adventurers Guild there to inform them that the researcher has been escorted, but yes.
Well, that sounds reasonable enough to me. She looks at Minnow and Nivori.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, yes.
Well, thankfully, the path from Sigil Watch to Duhearth is rather straightforward, so it shan't take long. The pay is not well, but that's not the point here, is it?
No.
No.
The joys of adventuring, right?
Speaking of that, is there paperwork I need to finish before we leave again for an unspecified amount of time?
Yes, you should get the Form 3412 and A through D. Let me retrieve that for you.
Wonderful.
Navori makes a face like, ew.
Ardania wanders off, passing by Juno and giving her a little look before going forward. It really is like, it's like two
dragons,
dogs.
yeah.
Yeah, they're feeling each other out and still not sure.
Territory's being drawn yet.
But she comes back about a minute or two later with a stack of paperwork and another of those glowing plates for the Adventurers Guild missions.
For the researcher, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
And she hands that over and the paperwork and your contact for the researcher will be waiting for you at the gate tomorrow morning.
Excellent. Thank you.
His name is Neville's.
Neville's?
Yes.
Okay.
And Minnow, tell your mother hello for me.
I will.
She offers up a kind smile before going back to doing whatever else she does here.
Okay, she looks like she's not gonna move if Neville.
Wait,
Maria. Minnow stays at the counter.
Oh, okay. Maria's gonna go back to their table and do paperwork.
yeah, Navori, like, she would pat Minnow on the shoulder, but she's probably too tall, so she just kind of pats her on the back. Goes to the table, too, still looking pensive.
So do you just stand there until Ardania comes back?
Yep, she's gonna wait.
Okay.
And it's a good, healthy silence to digest everything, I suppose.
Yeah. Ardania doesn't seem to notice that you're waiting around until it's just long enough to make you regret this. And you guys, like, occasionally look over and you see Minnow just standing. And eventually Ardania does come back and... Are you okay, dear?
I want to say that I'm sorry for yesterday.
Oh, well. Thank you.
I will come back.
I would hope so. Along with your friends.
Yes, of course, I'll come back with them. But I think I'm gonna say goodbye before we leave tomorrow. Thank you for everything.
Oh, of course. You are thin and broad after all. Just remember what I was telling you about trying to do what's right. You were sent here because you have the ability to do right instead of having to do what your father says all the time.
Sounds like something Nildas would say.
It is what he said, yes.
But, alright, well. We'll see to it then. That, Neville's
Yes,
gets
he's
the adventures done safely.
squirrely little gnome man. Take care of him. He's a bit on the older side, and, well, you know how travel can be.
Oh, yes.
And what? She reaches under the desk and pulls out a small, satchel of something, and this is to get him the more expensive travel. I don't think he'll take the more pedestrian route, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright. We'll see that he is treated very well.
Wonderful.
She thinks it.
And yes, I suppose take care, and take care of your friends. It will be a bit of a journey.
Of course. She's gonna, like, tiptoe lean over the counter to give Ardonia a hug.
Okay. Yeah, Ardania was like, meets you halfway. Like, she was going to do it too.
Yeah. Alright, and she's gonna head back to the table.
Okay. Benedict is just now wrapping up his story, and
Fuck.
and that, dear Sybil, is how the great cult of Wakutaku was vanished and vanquished and never to be heard from again. It was my first job that I ever accomplished here at the Thieves Guild. Wait,
The Thieves Guild.
sorry, that was misspeaking. The Adventurers Guild.
AU Benedict.
Yeah.
Nasty Benedict.
I
He's got
was
a
one of the
goatee.
few that they let in at the gentle age of 16.
Oh my god, the part where that guy was like, ah, and then you were like, ah, it was so
Yes.
cool.
Oh, thank you. It was fantastic. I relish in the thought daily.
Man, I can't believe some people just like, you know,
Yeah.
cults are fucking weird, man. Alright, listen, I appreciate the story, I always appreciate a good story. You ever think about, like, doing that? Just on the side, as a side gig?
Oh, your friend, Dancer, actually supplied me with an interesting potion that I've been meaning to take. But I've been saving it for a special occasion, as I've been contemplating doing precisely what it is that you've suggested. For you see, I have a number of adventures under my belt that would make fantastic stories to share with all of the children.
Okay, I love that idea. I do have to go back to the rest of the group, though,
Oh,
Betty.
of course. Take care.
Okay. Alright,
And-
I hope to see you when you do that performance. I'll
Yes,
see you
and-
later.
Give everybody my wellest of wishes.
I will, Benny, I will. Sybil goes back over to the group.
Alright, so you guys are all plunked down on the table. Maria's over there scribbling away at a stack of paperwork.
Would you
She's already
classify-
halfway through it.
Yeah, would you classify Borovia as a calamity or a catastrophe?
Catastrophe.
Alright.
Oh, was it a calamity? I mean, we did get people almost
I
went
think-
extinct.
I think it used to be a calamity and then it became a catastrophe. I don't know.
I feel that's a little reductive.
Hmm.
Hey guys, how's Boon gonna breathe underwater?
I got a thing. Navari says as she's staring holes in the table right now.
I'm gonna take Sybil home and she is delightful.
We
But
have
like,
spells
how
for that.
long can you do this? What?
We have spells for that.
But
That you pay for.
For how long? Like, if we can't pay for Boon to breathe, is he just gonna die?
No.
Okay. You know, I mean, I could do a thing multiple times if I know I need to.
Well, I mean, you're also gonna need to do the healing thing, too.
Yeah, I know.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay,
Hi.
I'm back.
I
I did not hear Nave's reply.
it
Oh,
sounds,
she just
No.
said, yeah, I know.
Oh.
if I'm not mistaken, it sounds like they're prepared for the eventuality of non-water breathing visitors.
But, Minnow, you said they had to pay. Is it like a flat rate?
It's like a 30-day visa.
Yes.
But how expensive is it?
She looks like she's working really hard at math. Like currency on plane.
Hiding out real bad.
Oh my god. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. She looks like she's crunching numbers really hard, trying to do conversions between what's on her plane and go here. Well, I look at notes.
That's in your notes?
Wow.
You have notes?
I do have notes.
We all have to breathe, but it would just be especially sad if Boon went first.
Well, there are lots of, pockets under the water, giant bubbles that will be... You'll be able to breathe and walk around just fine.
Hey, Minnow.
Mm-hmm.
Are there dogs?
Dogfish.
Stop.
Cass,
Do you guys have pets?
Yes. We do? The best way I can describe them is, in your language, like slugs with flowers growing out of them.
That sounds adorable.
They are quite.
Little sea anemones.
Yes.
Sucks. Sybil's like having a hard time considering this actually. She's just like squinting kinda. Slugs.
I was going to suggest cuttlefish. And
Oh,
then she
yeah.
goes,
That's funny.
back to her fucking paperwork.
You put those words right back in your mouth. Well. Yeah.
Cass's... I mean, her face isn't changing, but she feels more and more concerned.
Yeah, Navori looks weirdly... I mean, she's been pensive for a while, but she's just kind of staring a hole in the table. Like, she doesn't look like she's happy about any of this.
Is there enchanted armor?
Do you think you're gonna rust?
No, I think I'm going to sink.
Well, I believe
That's
Minnow
civil
said-
laughing, by the way.
Minnow said that most of our work would be done in one of these bubbles, so probably not. Unless gravity is different.
Yes, it should be a concern anywhere that you would swim in that plane you don't want to be.
Hmm.
So,
Hey, if I cast fly on Cass, would she be able to float like normal?
Minnow shrugs.
You're asking some really weird magical questions here.
We're gonna have to experiment.
If it's necessary.
I mean, I guess we could just make a quick run to see a dam if we need to enchant your armor.
I will be very plain. I have no more money.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting poor too.
The whole party is getting poor, I believe.
Yeah, I've been broke this
Yeah.
whole time.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing a lot of charity.
Well,
Yeah.
what will grant us passage in the plane is a job to escort a member of the magistrate, a researcher.
Did it
Not
say
much
how
in the
well
way
it
of
pays?
treasure
Wait.
either.
It doesn't pay well,
Wait.
but it gets us into the plane, which is currently rather controlled due to a heightened military situation.
Guess what were you
Wait.
gonna say?
Guess like she sits up and she's like escorting a member of the. You don't think it could be?
No,
No,
I
his,
mean, you guys would have noticed, right?
his name is Neville's. He is a gnome, apparently.
Yes.
And a nerd.
Yes, I presume.
That's implied.
Didn't we meet a nerd note recently?
Okay, Genasi.
Wasn't it Genasi?
Well,
You did meet a.
Blueberry Genasi.
You met a gnome quite some time ago.
Oh.
But that was a long time ago, actually.
Are you So, where's the train of thought going here, Kiss?
It's nothing. It's fine.
Are you sure?
You know, I had a thought.
What's your thought?
Back before I became an official adventurer, I always heard that adventurers found, treasure all over the place.
Yeah, see?
You know, we
You
have
know
a-
what? I've been poking in those fucking boxes. And all you were like, Navori, stop doing that. Well, guess what? There's a reason.
Tell you to stop doing it.
Stealing from people isn't alright.
What about that spear? I wonder how much it would go for.
It has feelings!
Alright, we can't pawn off the sentient weapon. I think it would... It wants to stay with Minnow.
Is there still treasure at the bottom of the sea if the whole plane is the sea? I mean, I guess yes.
But what is the bottom?
The ground part.
Would it be the ground part or would it be the middle?
Is there a ground part? It's all water.
But, wait. There's gotta be sand, right?
There is land.
Yeah.
We will be walking on sand and ground. There are trenches.
Then it's not really purely the water plane, is it?
Poor Minnow.
This is like what happens when you have a foreign friend.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Maybe
This
it's
is
kind of
exactly
just like a majority kind of thing. Like, it's mostly water, so...
Clyde has the right.
How come the ground part was the part where you drew the line, Kess, and not the air pockets? Just
I mean, I guess if I walked into a plane, it was all underwater. I think the water plane would be the first thing to come to my mind when naming it.
That's fair.
yeah.
I bet you didn't think you were going to be a tour guide, she says to Minnow.
Not at all.
It's gonna be fun.
For values of
Someone
fun.
please validate that statement.
She just did.
Oh.
Minnow shuts her mouth.
Yes. And Cass, at this point, looks over at Minnow and she's like, "Are you looking forward to introducing us to the rest of your family?" a smug note.
God.
in her
face. Her face says absolutely not, but she says yes.
Insight check!
Wow.
I'm rolling it!
She was not even trying.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Well, my sister's doing better, so be happy
Yeah, that's
to meet you. Does not mention brother, does not mention father, does not mention...
We will do our best to be on our optimal behavior. She isn't gonna say best.
Namori just like sniffs like
That's optimal. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything we absolutely shouldn't do?
And Kess holds up her hand and she's like, holds that sub.
Mm.
Because she looks at Navori.
Namori kind of glances over at Cass. It's just like, yep, you got it. And then she grins.
Well, we won't be the first band of adventurers that have crossed to the plane, and we won't be the last, so... Some level of cultural differences acknowledged. She's trying really hard to, like, find words that sound nice and nice to the party.
Wow.
To prepare for this hot mess, potentially.
What do you
Not
mean potentially?
Yeah. It's certain by this point. Maria calculates a 99.5% chance that they fuck it up.
I mean, so long as we don't, like, kill any officials, we're already doing a lot better.
That's true.
What are they gonna do? Ban me from another city? I'll get back in.
Up.
Well, if the reports are as they say they are, I doubt they would have any qualms if we want to help with any of the cultists' problem.
Yes. It sounds like we are at least operating on the right side this time.
Yes. That said, there are thousands. And, we can take it one task at a time, and, just see what we can do for, she, like, bites her tongue a little bit, and she gestures out the door, and a dragon man.
I mean, we might be able to do it without him. You know, thousands. It's too bad you can't set fires underwater. Sybil says as she looks at Cass, accusingly.
You know, there is lightning though.
Oh, that's awful.
That would be tremendously ill-advised, I think. So,
Namori shrugs.
so perfect, really, is what I'm getting at.
So, like, you know, alright. Let's just, like, do a good huddle, and Sybil leans in and speaks a little quieter, and she's like, are we really gonna, like, take it back to him, or...
Oh, no, absolutely not. It's going to go
I'd
to the
rather not.
Magisterium if it goes anywhere, yes.
Yeah, why the
Yeah,
fuck are we
okay.
gonna do that? Is that even
Yeah,
a question?
alright.
I would sooner trust it with your sister, Sybil. Absolutely.
Alright, cool.
So,
Everyone's
You guys-
staring at each other.
Paperwork. It's time for paperwork.
yeah, Maria, I imagine, goes right back to doing paperwork.
Oh yeah.
And you guys kind of watch that for a time.
It's very Kafka-esque. She's turning into a cockroach in front of you.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god.
Nabori
Um,
keeps looking like she wants to say something, but she's not gonna. Like, she just keeps looking weirdly nervous.
Hey, I have a question. Do Sybil and Nave still share a room?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, well, if Max allows it, there's gonna be a sequence then.
I mean, yeah. So eventually food is brought over. And if you guys aren't going to be doing anything else, we can go on up so you guys take your rests.
Yeah.
Alright, you guys all head up into your rooms.
Files the paperwork and goes
Yeah.
goes into sleep mode.
She plugs herself in.
Yeah. If these rooms do adapt to the personality, Maria's looks like a fucking Apple store.
So does Kess's!
Oh my god.
God.
That's how you make
Twinsies.
friends.
Yeah.
I just imagine like Maria having like a stand-up like bed like 7 of 9.
Yeah. Fuck.
Oh my god.
It's proper in the corner.
You and your horrible Apple rooms.
She doesn't have a personality yet.
Oh my god.
So yeah, you guys all head up into your individual room. Navorian, I almost said Navorian Cass, and that would be a catastrophe. Navorian Sybil, you guys head into your rooms.
Yep.
Uh-huh. My
And-
thing keeps cutting out. That's such a problem.
Yeah, I need to change the servers. Hold on. It's weird how like this only happens with D&D. It feels like.
Mm.
better.
Okay. Let's pray and hope. So I figure Sybil doesn't actually talk to Nave until they're both in bed, so it's like sleepover style.
Ceiling
Okay,
confessional.
well, if that's the case, Navori is gonna probably try to. I don't know. She doesn't really know what to say, but she's really nervous, and she sort of tries to focus on just sort of communing with her deity, but it's more of a like anything specific, and she sort of imagines that her deity might know why, considering the situation that they first contacted her in. But yeah, she's just like, it's sort of like when you just kind of want to sit with a friend for a minute and ruminate and not necessarily say anything, but just sort of feel better that someone's there for you. That's sort of what she does before going to bed. So, yeah, then I guess eventually she goes to bed.
Okay. Yeah, Sybil, you want to do your thing?
Yeah, sure. It's pitch ass dark, and in the darkness of, sleep time before sleeping, Sybil just goes, "Hey, Nave,
Yeah.
are you good?"
I don't know.
Do you want to talk about it?
I mean, well, let me just say that I think once upon a time I was kidnapped by creepy cultists that were turning people into weird, creepy abomination things, and I'm getting a similar vibe.
So, like what happened in Barovia?
Maybe, sort of. I mean, what happened in Barovia, but if people were those undead that, like, weird shit was coming out of.
I mean, they were people once.
Yeah, but they were undead then. They were like living people where I was, don't
Huh.
fucking like it!
So, Are you afraid that you're gonna get captured again?
Sort of. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm sort of worried that the same weird shit was happening in the plane that was on, and this is more widespread than, just these few places. It seems like it's happening fucking all over the goddamn place.
Well, I think 2 out of 3 ain't bad when it comes to the stuff we've dealt with, so,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna let you get captured.
Well,
And
I'm not
Tess definitely isn't gonna let you get captured. And Maya's not gonna let you get captured, and Clive's not gonna let you get captured, and Minnow's not gonna let you get captured, and Boon's not gonna let you get captured, and you'd have to kill all of us, and that's turning out to be really hard, actually.
Yeah, I think I'm in a better place this time, though, than I was that time. So either way, it's probably... Yeah. She doesn't sound entirely convinced, but...
Is there anything that I can do to help out?
Well, just fuck these guys up. The assholes, and they need to fucking stop summoning weird, creepy shit from wherever and maybe turning people into them and all that fucking bullshit.
Sybil sits up. And she's like, do you want another route of escape?
What do you mean?
Well, you still have that pearl, right? Did you do anything with it?
Yeah, I put, a spell to bring people back if they die in it.
Guess that only works once, huh?
What do you mean?
Well, I just learned something new and fancy. Hey, watch this. And because they haven't rested yet, Sybil just uses Dimension Door, and a big-ass, green-ass door opens up, and then she's on the other side of the room near Nave, and she's like, check that out!
Hey! I think I know how to do that, too.
Yeah, that's not very helpful, considering you can't use the pearl, but if you get captured, just,
Oh, wait, no, the thing I could do is different. I think. I get a feeling I could do something like that, but it's like... Never mind. Anyway.
Well,
that is fucking sick!
Thank you. Sybil ruffles Nave's hair and is just like, listen. I'll always come get you out. So... just take that as you will before I get too genuine and dramatic. And Sybil walks back to bed and goes to sleep.
Well, before she does that, Nave gets genuine and dramatic and just gives Sybil a hug.
Oh, Sybil hugs her back.
So many hugs.
You gotta.
Yeah.
Get out before you go to war.
When you say it like that.
Oh my god.
Jesus!
I feel like Mario should
Your
have
kids
visited...
lighten up a little?
Yeah. I feel like I should have visited the child now.
Alright, so you guys all get your long rest for the night. Morning comes, unless anyone's going to do anything else. Alright, I'm gonna take that as a no. You guys all get your rest, and the morning comes, and you filter down, as you normally do. Eating breakfast, and you see Ardania and Juno, talking, actually. Neither of them seem to notice you guys, but food shows up for you nonetheless. Do you spend the morning doing anything, or just preparing to go?
Sybil's gonna just, corner Kess. She's gonna corner Kess.
Sure.
Yeah, at some point, Kess is standing, and then Sybil is there, and she's just like, hey.
Kess looks down.
So... I know you keep an eye on everyone, because you got so many. But could you keep like 2 on Nave while we're in the plane?
I can.
Yeah.
It does seem like she's the most prone to problems.
But it's not that. Listen, I'm not at liberty to say. I mean, I'll keep your bullshit close. I keep her bullshit close. I guess bullshit is reductive. That's just how I refer to it. I'm sorry. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I just think. Let's make sure she doesn't get snatched. Yeah?
Of course.
Cool. Then Sybil goes to eat.
Yes. Yeah, fair. Kind of like, sure.
Okay.
Gonna go get a coffee.
Okay. You guys get your breakfast and coffee, and start getting ready to head out. As you step out into the Sigillian streets, you are greeted with what you are always greeted with. And you head on off, deeper into the city, off to the, I'm just gonna stop the music. Off towards the portals that take you to various planes. You take a little bit of time to walk through, hitting past the various carts that are opening for business for the day, the shops, the people heading off to work. The city is waking up as you guys get ready to leave. You make your way off into the district of the city where the portals are. You notice there are people milling around, more so than you've seen before. There are individuals lining up at the portal to Eos in particular. You see a group of hardily clad individuals with heavy weaponry strapped across them, standing next to a rather boring-looking wagon and a nervous-looking fellow sitting atop the wagon. You see people starting to work on the portal to what's it called? Barovia. It looks like there are individuals with various measuring tools, hammers, working away at the once rusted away fence and gate and restoring it. And off in the distance, you see a bluish portal that is guarded fairly heavily. There are 2 Sigillian portal guards in their bright gold armor, standing there with their spears up. And you see in front of the entrance to the portal a rather nervous, anxious-looking gnomish man. He is about 2 feet tall. Thick goggles that look like they could be glasses, but they are just like strapped to his head. And he's wearing what looks like safari clothes almost. And he's clearly looking for people, but doesn't say anything to you guys.
Dr. Livingston, I presume.
Just imagining a tiny Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Not inaccurate. Yeah, so do you guys go head up to this gnomish man?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. As you approach, he looks over at you guys and wipes away at one of his goggles and, "Oh, hello! Are you my adventuring coterie?"
Yes, Neville's?
"Yes, Sir Neville's is my name.
Sir Neville's.
Sir is my middle name, and Neville's is my surname."
So you're not doctor, not professor, not doctor,
Wait.
professor?
Are you Sir Neville's?
No, I would be Sir Neville's.
Ah, I see.
Doctor, professor,
Yes.
Sir Neville's.
Well, everybody's got to have a name.
Wow.
Wow.
Mario just starts cracking up.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck does that mean?
Mario just tunes out on the philosophy of that one.
After a little while, Navori pointedly looks up at the sky, just like, you know? And, like,
It's
no
got
one
a
really
name,
knows
that
what
one's
that
it.
means.
Anyway, yes, you are to accompany me to Durith. Is that not right?
Correct.
Excellent. Well then, allow me to present our paperwork to the gods, and I suggest you get your identification papers ready.
Yes. Absolutely. Is that in
Wonderful.
the paperwork that she's filed before? Is
Um,
Mario
the
carrying the mentor
plate.
pouch?
Make a history check.
Fuck yeah.
Oh my
god, where's my history?
Does anyone but Sybil have legal papers? Like,
Navori doesn't. Why the fuck would she?
Yes, Mike. I don't know if she does.
Mario, you are caught like a deer in the headlights.
Yep, cool.
fuck, we forgot our passports, guys.
Navori's just like, do the adventurers thingy badge things count?
Oh, they might actually.
She sort of whispers to the party.
Yeah, let's
Should.
try that.
We have these cool shiny badges.
Neville's just doesn't. He's already walking away from you guys.
Right on.
Yeah,
We're just
yeah,
gonna
hell
follow
yeah.
like we know what we're doing.
Yes.
And he reaches around into a pack on his side and pulls out a ream of papers and holds them up above his head. He's 2 feet tall, so the
Yeah.
guard is
Hmm.
barely noticing him before seeing the papers waving and, oh. Yes, sir, you will see that all the paperwork is squared away. I am Sir Neville's. I am going on an expedition to the elemental plane of water to conduct a research on the Temple of the Depth Water. And these are my compatriots. They are escorting me to the city of Dureth. And he just keeps talking, and you see the guard's life leave his eyes.
Everybody get through the fucking portal.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Anyway, yes, we will be advancing now, and thank you, good sir, for your hard work. If it weren't for you, this plane, well, not plane, but sigil itself would be overrun with riffraff and ruffians.
Navori just kind of snorts in the background.
I love him.
Get through the portal.
Wonderful. We're gonna shuffle. Yeah, right quick.
Okay. The guards don't even look at you.
Yeah.
God bless.
Okay. Oh, I lost my picture. Oh no.
What is up with us and our
no.
reoccurring theme of avoiding Sigillian customs?
So good. Half of us don't belong here and we know it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have my picture. Oh well.
Just find a Windows wallpaper of
Yeah.
the
Of
ocean.
water.
Yeah.
I love the vaporwave plane of the sea.
Lo-fi hip-hop begins playing in the background.
Oh no.
Oh wait, no, this works. Okay.
Wow, Nave, you're playing so aesthetic.
I'm upset that this just disappeared on me. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, we need mood, right?
Yeah. There we go.
Just get Atlantis from Disney.
No.
Hey Max, why did you name the elemental plane of water city after the Shark City?
What?
Duleth, Duloth.
Oh, fuck.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
No
No
comment from the
Shut down.
It's okay, he's gonna think about that later tonight.
Retcons.
He's gonna lay in bed awake, thinking about it.
Consider.
Welcome to
Alright, so shut up. As you approach the portal, you see a deep blue expanse stretching out before you. It looks like there is nothing other than just a canvas painted blue. But stepping through the portal is, like always, stepping into another room. And there is that brief moment of vertigo before you feel your feet striking stone. and you find yourself atop a tower, overlooking a bright, sunny beach. The sunlight is blinding for a moment as it peeks out behind clouds. It's an idyllic sight. There are 2 humans standing next to the portal with gold armor in looser-fitting clothing. And as you look back at them, you take notice of the fact that it's actually very nice and warm here. It's a tropical climate that isn't too hot. There's a very pleasant breeze that blows sea salt towards you, stinging your skin just a little bit, smelling very fresh. You see individuals wandering around the top of this tower with you, some people beginning to crowd around a set of stairs, turning and walking down. Next to the stairs is what looks like a slope where you see a wagon being pushed down. It looks like this is for, the stairs are for normal people, or not normal people, but your average person, while there is a ramp for the differently abled and wagons, or transport vehicles. Sir Neville's turns to look at you guys, and I do love it here. It's quite idyllic up on the surface. Is it not beautiful? And he gestures out to what you now realize is you're on an island, a rather small island, where you can immediately see, and thanks, Groovy, you just don't work well sometimes.
Oh no, we're at Central again.
Fell out of the portal.
I'll wait till this starts.
We walked out, walked back.
Okay.
in.
Hi.
Yeah. I do love it here. It's quite a beautiful island. And yeah, it's an island. It's a small island. You notice that you are surrounded by water on all sides. The top of the tower is actually an open. It's more like a lighthouse with a portal in the center. And, well, let us go, friends!
Hey Max,
And
I
he
have a
began-
question.
Uh-huh.
There's no bodies of water in Sigil, are there?
Nope.
Okay.
Though you are used to seeing something like this due to the location of the Magisterium. Not quite like this, though. You're just kind of used to hearing it in the distance and knowing the concept.
I saw waterfalls in the Feywild.
Yeah, an ocean, is alien to you.
It is
Sybil-
to Nori too. She's just
Yeah.
staring out in awe, kind
Does it
of.
seem familiar to Maria at all, or is this also completely
Make a history check.
new? Ooh, okay. Let's see if I can get another sweet 4.
Yeah.
No, I believe.
10?
It feels familiar, yeah.
Huh. Well, she'll have a good nostalgic stare then. Wondering why.
Seen an ocean like this in a long time.
This is fucking crazy. It's like such a big open space. What the fuck?
Huh.
Does it just go on forever? I mean, plane of water, but she just gestures.
Yes.
That's crazy.
But Minnow also looks like surprised to be on an island, like trying to be cool and like, yeah, this is my home. But she
Yeah, it's alright.
And baby cribs.
island, but she's she's really in awe of this as well and taking it in.
And Sir Neville's has turned around to, oh, have you never seen the ocean before? Or rather, the elemental plane of water? It's not quite just an ocean, as it does encompass the vast majority of this world.
Yeah,
Quite
no,
beautiful.
never seen this. It's fucking neat.
Well, you are in for a treat when we go under the waves, then.
Oh yes.
Is
What?
something wrong?
Uh,
Uh-huh.
no. I'm good.
That was a lot of creaking for no.
Yeah, it's fine.
Did you ever
Okay.
go under like a big water thing before?
Yeah?
I don't think Navori needs the insight to know that's a no.
That was so relatable.
Yeah.
Love it.
If anyone said anything in character, I did not hear it. I only heard laughter.
That
No,
was
it was
it.
just
Yeah.
laughter.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Navori's like, yeah, okay.
Damn.
Absolutely does not believe it. But she's just like,
It's not Sybil's best performance.
it's gonna be neat, I think, I hope. Navori isn't sure if she's been...
Yeah, like, it was
I mean-
super cool when I did it.
I'm sure Navori's, like, been in, like, a river or a lake or something, maybe hiding underwater to get away from people, but, you know, nothing like this.
Yeah.
So...
Mario's just like ready to build a hut on the beach, I tell you what.
And it should be noted that the water here is not like crystal clear blue, it is normal ocean blue, where the ocean, the blue quickly overtakes whatever semblance of ground there is, so very swiftly you lose sight of the beach that the waves are lapping up against, and just see a deep blue-green mass of water stretching out.
With ominous black tendrils of seaweed.
Oh, don't.
Is it?
Why did I make it right in character? God. Regret. All my fears.
Yeah, remember all those underwater zones in Guild Wars 2?
No. Why did I make her?
Gonna have undead dragging us under.
Oh
No,
my
stop! Oh, I hate that.
god. More flashbacks.
Better down there as well.
No!
Yeah, so Sir Neville's is hopping down the stairs. He can't step. He has to hop.
That's adorable.
God.
I want to note Sybil is last. And every time the waves come up, when she gets too close, she starts flinching.
Oh.
So yeah, you guys, it takes about 5 minutes to go down the stairs. They're fairly wide. There are people heading up, and you see various transit vehicles going up the ramp as well. And you do come down and your feet touch the beach. And off in the distance, not too far distance, you see a wharf. There's some wooden docks and a stone building near those docks. There is no path between here and there, though. So walking over there crunches you through the sand, and Sybil, I imagine you're a little wobbly. Kess, I imagine you're a little wobbly too. You're in full plate, walking through sand.
Or is she the steadiest of us all?
She just fucking stomps her way over there.
Sybil kind of grabs onto Kess and lets herself be, like, floated.
So Kess is like walking like someone walking through foot-high snow.
Yeah. Damn, if she's gonna look unsteady, she's telling that sand what for.
She's picking up sand every which way.
Yeah. She's gonna have regrets later when she pulls off her gauntlet, her boots, and sand comes
Sand
out.
is everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I hate sand.
Yep, nope. So, Boon, meanwhile, is running at the waves and snapping at the water as it comes up occasionally, having a good old time. Runs up to you guys, completely soaked, and shakes himself off.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, Navori, like, takes off her boots and her socks real quick and sort of runs in the water on the front, too.
Water.
Clive, for like the first time any of you have ever seen him, takes off his cloak
Oh,
No.
shit.
Alarm.
Man.
and like folds it up.
It's like his beard just came off. It's weird.
No, that's
Detachable beard.
Oh.
yeah. So you guys head through the sand, some enjoying it, some flinching from the water.
Yes.
And you come upon the wooden docks where you just see these short, rounded docks with no boats in sight. And the stone building is nearby, and looks old and worn away by the weather. But you see a few people walking in and out. So do you guys head over there or hang out at the docks for now?
Oh yeah, we're following Sir Neville's.
Sir Neville.
Okay, yeah, he's made his way over to the building as well.
Oh, are there fucking shiny seashells as we're walking along though? Maria must know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, she does look at her feet the whole time.
This is an idyllic beach.
Oh my god.
Cultivatedly so. But idyllic nonetheless.
She's picking up all her favorite shells and then putting them down again when she finds one she likes better.
So Rory's doing this, but she's not putting any of them down.
She's keeping them, yeah.
Yeah.
Maria lets them go free, yeah.
The money at some point slithers down your arm, Knave, and starts picking up shells and puts one on his head.
Yeah. And Rory occasionally goes over to show Maria a neat shell.
Yeah. They find something with like mother of pearl on it and they're both like, fuck yes!
Yeah.
And Sister Neville's heads into the building where you see it's pretty bland and open. There's a desk with a single Triton, looking not nearly as elegant as Minnow. In fact, there's no like massive fin. It's just they look more like a fish person than Minnow does.
So like Abe Sapien?
Yeah, more like Abe
Oh.
Sapien.
Yeah. Whoa.
That was traumatic.
Yeah. Fuck.
And Sir Neville's walks up to the table in the center of the room and hops up and, "Hello, sir! I am here to go down to the city. My compatriots and I are hoping to gain passage to Dureth. Duheth, rather. Not Dureth, Duheth."
Nice
And
retcon.
And the Triton looks down at him and, "Oh, well, how will you be traveling then?" "Oh, well, I suppose I would like to travel by mount then."
What? Rory just kind of whispers to anyone near her.
And he starts rooting around for coin and seems like he might not be able to find any.
Oh, Sir Neville, we have that for you.
"Oh, really?
Not to
That
worry.
would be fantastic. I will make sure you get quite the tip."
Wonderful. And she's gonna pull out that satchel that Ardania gave her
Okay.
and give it to the man.
The Triton looks and, "This will cover a single carriage.
Perfect.
Would you like mounts for the rest of you, or all fit into a single carriage?"
How many people can a carriage fit comfortably?
Comfortably, I would say 4.
Alright, 2 lapsies, let's go.
Who's gonna let me sit in the lap?
Yeah.
Was that a volunteer, Cass?
If you would not wish to overload the carriage, I can throw in mounts for free. Since you are escort... Oh, you would... Mounts for all of you then, or just for the 2?
Do you all still get to sit in the lap if there's a mount?
I want a mount.
Some...
Ah.
well, no, there are no lap mounts, I'm afraid.
Is the mount gonna bite me?
I have never seen one of the seahorses bite anybody, no. Now the rays, mayhap, but they are more like a baby gumming than a teeth.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
I want one.
I want a horse. Yeah, I know horses.
Very well. You may choose once you reach the stables. For now, is it one carriage and 6 mounts, or what is the desired?
I think
Mori looks at the rest of them.
I would suggest a carriage. It's quite an experience, but I'll be taking a mount.
That is 3 mounts.
I guess if we're getting a carriage, I'll get in the.
I suggest you and your companion take... Well, I would suggest your companion at least takes the carriage, and Boon barks.
Yeah, I don't think Boon knows how to ride a horse. He might. He surprises me sometimes.
Boon just barks and wags his whole body.
Alright, I mean, I can take the carriage, but I do want to know what a ray is, so I'm gonna go to the stable anyway.
Well, then let us say 3 in the carriage, 3 on the mounts. Come on, guys.
that'll
Yeah,
work.
works for me.
Excellent. Head down to the stables then. And Sir Neville's goes, yes, thank you! And turns to look at you guys and, oh, this is so exciting. I always love visiting.
What is it that you're researching here again, if I may ask?
Oh, I am researching the Temple of the Depth Watcher. It is a
Depth
local
Watcher.
deity that I am quite keen on learning more about.
Are you an aficionado of deities?
Oh, I would not say an aficionado, I would simply say an enthusiast.
Hmm.
Navori kind of looks at Minnow like, does this sound familiar to you?
It does, but she's a little squinty about it.
What is it that is fascinating about this Depth Watcher?
Oh, well, the Depth Watcher does not have much information available about her. She is simply supposed to be the being that watches over, well, the depths. It is said that she appears when most needed to rescue strangers and stragglers that have fallen into the depths of the oceans. And it was she that brought about the first Tritons. You see, they were originally elves, or the stories would say. And the Depth Watcher looked upon them and said, I need guardians. And created the Tritons, transmogrified the elves into sea creatures, as your friend here is.
Okay, but creatures have sea people.
It would be preferable.
Yes, my apologies. I am quite used to speaking academically, where, well, it is quite uncouth sometimes.
Nerds. Navori just kind of whispers aside the symbol.
How often do you visit Sir Neville's?
Oh, this will be my first time visiting the temple, but I often visit, Duhearth.
Oh, so this isn't your first trip.
Oh, absolutely not. But on the Adventurers Guild, just in case something goes.
Well,
Oh,
it's
you
your
cut
first
it
You're
trip.
cutting out.
It's your first time coming here with us, so that's probably going to make it more exciting.
Ah, yes, I am quite thrilled. But as I said, I come here often enough, and I've never seen anything go awry. So let us hope that the trip down is uneventful to give you all a chance to receive your Eiffels. Though I do recommend those of you taking them out, well, put whatever clothing you wish to save or be dry within the carriage with me.
Fair
Saying
enough.
whoever's on the
Shit.
mill's going to get.
Oh
yes.
man, Cass!
You will be, well, underwater. They provide you a spell to allow you to breathe as normal, but you are still underwater. The carriages act as a bubble to keep you secure and warm and dry.
Well,
Yes, are
good
you
thing I
sure you
decided
don't
to get in the
wanna-
carriage.
Ride in the carriage?
Yeah.
She.
I would recommend it, considering.
She nods reluctantly.
So what, do we strip now or later?
I mean, stripping is of your own volition.
Okay.
Just know you will be getting wet. But I suppose if you wish to strip, I would do so before you mount, and, well, depending on how modest you wish to be, only just before. Unless you have no qualms about meandering about in your skivvies.
I mean, I could probably dry you guys off once you get
Yeah,
where you're going.
I don't think that'll be a problem on the other side, no.
I don't know if the money would really like.
I do think the money should have a carriage ride as well.
Do you want me to hold your horrible rat?
Wow! You gave that rat a nice coat.
I did. He's still horrible and I love him. Please just hand over the money.
Nobori grins at that because that's exactly why she named it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Sybil makes the face like.
The serendipity makes Mario smile.
The money crawls down Navori and leaps over to you, Sybil, and there's a moment where the money, like, has to, like, dig in a little bit.
His
Before
little claws are
scrambling up.
in me.
Oh.
Not really.
Oh, I think he's like in my hair. Oh.
The money is just curled up around your neck like a gross gross rat stole.
Oh. Wholesome.
And he's cleaning his face.
Mari's making this face like it's the cutest thing she's seen in a long while.
Yeah, Nobori's grinning like she's proud of the money.
Yeah.
Sybil No Pockets McGee has nowhere but, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
her shoulders for the money.
All this time you've been walking towards the docks, where you are now standing at the edge of, and you see off to the side, just behind the building, there is a wooden platform that has divots down into the water. It looks like a set of stables submerged. And next to it are what look like very elaborate carriages, with two seats facing each other that look like they can fit 4 people on each side, or 2 people on each side for a total of 4 individuals.
Please, you guys, I want to see what's in the stables. I want to ride in the carriage, but I want to know what's in the stables.
Oh, well, I mean, we can take our time. There's no rush.
Sybil bolts to the stables.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, it's no problem. I do like taking first-timers here. Is it not exciting watching the land dwellers enjoy the sight of the grandiose ocean?
Oh, it's never tiring.
Sybil, when you bolt over, you see a handful of tritons swimming around in the water, floating around, diving down, with buckets. And you see
Oh, wait, the stables are underwater?
Yeah. But you
How
can
long
see...
have we been underwater?
No, she's
No,
looking
no.
into them.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
looking
okay.
into them. The stables are like, yeah,
It's like
the
an
stables are
aquarium?
like... Yeah, actually.
Okay.
But there's like no top. They are directly down. It's like when you're looking at the top of a fish tank.
Okay.
And you see Triton diving around with buckets, nimble swimmers. And when you look down, you see a variety of sea creatures. You see 2 seahorses, very plain looking, but svelte with the curled tails up in front of them.
Is there anyone around?
Yeah, there are Tritons.
Oh no, I
swimming
mean the
around.
party. Did
Oh,
anyone
yeah,
catch
yeah.
up to her?
Yeah,
Minnows following her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Sybil turns around and she looks at the others and points at the seahorses and goes, "That looks like a pasta!"
What? What?
Pasta?
Minato's flicking
like
the handcuff.
Clive looks at the seahorse and like you can see like the equations around his
Yeah.
head.
Mario too.
Looks like a pasta noodle.
Navari's like kind of squinting when she's like taking off her various rags.
Yeah, Minno's casually removing her armor, and there's like metal wires underneath, like she had a lighter set of armor underneath. But
Sybil gets so uncomfortable and turns to face a different direction.
well, they are what you would call seahorses. And she nods her chin off to like the. I assume there's rays floundering around nearby too.
Yeah, there are manta rays.
I want to pet a ray. Mario wants to pet a ray.
Yeah. 3 of them just kind of drifting lazily. They're not in pens like the seahorses are. They look like they're just kind of content to float around. Every so often, one twists completely to the side, a large fin peeking up over the waves.
That right there's a fucking kite.
That is neat, and I want one.
They're really cute.
And those are the only 2 types of sea creatures you see floating around as seeming mounts.
Sybil feels like some sort of regret taking the carriage because she really wants to pet a seahorse, but
I mean, they're close enough for you to reach out and touch if you really want to get close to them.
she absolutely does.
Mario
Okay.
wants to pet a ray.
These being not necessarily tourist animals, but rentals, for lack of a better term. They seem pretty used to people, and they are receptive to getting pats. The seahorse has a very strange, non-noodly texture. It's kind of rough and ridged.
That's okay, she's still muttering pasta noodle, pasta noodle.
It's rigatoni.
Yeah. The ray is smooth to the touch and is actually kind of a snuggle bug and is constantly coming back around.
Oh. Mario
And
adopts
every so
him.
often, it floats around onto, I guess, its back, and you can see the weird smiley face mouth.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
That's
And-
adorable.
I love sea pancakes.
Yeah, they're the best.
Majestic sea flap flap.
One of the Tritons swims over to you guys. His body a bit more floaty and fin-like than Minnow's. He looks kind of like a clownfish.
Oh, nice.
And actually, you don't know if it's a he. It's very androgynous and hard to tell. They look up at you and, oh, hello. Who's taking the mounts out then?
I'll be taking
Us.
one. And I've already, yes. And,
Excellent. Which do you prefer?
I want the smiley boy.
Let me retrieve the smiley boy for you. And they do like a front flip to get deeper into the waves and go, and you see them kick their way over to one of the rays, and they grab a pair of reins and start pulling it back to you. And they surface again holding the reins, and this is Water Prancer. She will take good care of you.
I believe it.
Please come here real quick. And they gesture for you to come a bit closer.
Okay.
You have to like wade into the water a little
Yeah.
bit to get this close.
Yeah, Mari hasn't taken anything off. She's just going in fully dressed. She doesn't even care.
The Triton mutters something under their breath and reaches out and taps both sides of your neck. And it becomes difficult to breathe above water.
Mm.
Not impossible, but it's like sucking air through a large straw.
How awkward.
Yeah, and you will be able to breathe underwater until for the next hour.
Magical.
Huh. Well, she's gonna go under. Try it out.
Okay, yeah. When you go under, it's immediately easier to breathe, and you're able to swing onto the back of a water dancer
Prancer.
quite easily. Prancer, that's right. There's a little saddle on there. that makes it easy for you to settle in, and the ray is still until you are settled, and then just kind of drifts lazily around. And you guys all watch Maria. She's a little distorted, and her hair is flowing out behind her, caught in the water, as she just sort of lazily drifts around atop this ray.
She also looks like she's having... I mean, Maria doesn't ever have much of an expression on her face, but she has a little bit of a one, which means she's having the fucking time of her life.
I love that we have,
great.
like, two people that just do not show expressions.
And we love them anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Triton looks to you, Navori and Minnow, and which do you prefer?
Minnow gestures for Navori to pick first.
Navori points to the rays. Those
Ah.
thing.
Well, let me retrieve Stingbolt for you. I assure you his name is just for show. He likes to go fast.
Yeah.
Water puppies.
Flips over and kicks their way over to get the reins of Stingbolt and grabs them and brings it back up to you. And do be careful. He is a bit of a handful, but he'll take you nonetheless. And simply keep a tight rein on him.
Sure.
Do
thing.
come here. And gestures for you to wade into the water.
Before that, Navori is basically taken off all her bags and most of her knives. Like
Takes a
her
solid minute to
leggings
take off
and
the
her-
knife.
Yeah, and like her mantle and her scarf and, all that stuff, aside from her white backless dress and like whatever undergarment she has. And you can see that there's a weird symbol on her back, along with a bunch of scars all over her neck and stuff. But, she just seems undeterred by this, obviously. And she goes over and she gives all her stuff to Cass, because Cass would probably be able to hold it.
Gives all her stuff to Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she goes over and takes the reins of the ray.
Okay, and the Triton casts water breathing on you. And like Maria, it becomes difficult to breathe air, but once you're underwater, it's perfectly easy to breathe. And now you guys watch Navori and Maria just kind of drift around each other. Nave's Ray dashes around a little bit, doing barrel rolls.
Sick wheelies.
Navori is giggling and she loves it. Gives him pats.
And the giggling is a clear whoop, 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 whoop.
Oh, I love this.
And you, madam.
I'll take that steed there, and she points to a seahorse.
Ah, you have good taste, I see.
Is it
You
the one that
recognize a
Sybil
breed.
is petting?
Oh, no, probably not.
Oh,
Just want to interrupt the
Sybil's been
petting.
having a moment.
Yeah, no, she wouldn't interrupt that.
This one is Summerstream.
Summer
As the Triton goes off and takes the reins and gently seahorse over, where you see the tiny little working overtime as the seahorse flutters over and bobs around. Summerstream will take good care of you, and you seem like you're the experienced rider.
Oh, yes. She gives Summerstream a scritch under its jaw thing. Nozzle.
Nozzle.
If I
Squirt
may,
gun.
if I may ask, are you not Miss Deharath?
I am. Yes.
Ah. Well, it's good to see you, miss.
Thank you. You are?
Ah, I am of no consequence. I am simply a common man. I've just heard stories of your father.
Yes, and all his great deeds.
Oh, yes, he is quite the icon. Well, I wish you well, and you and your companions a safe journey.
Thank you.
And once this group is mounted up, another Triton flops out of the water. You notice that this one looks a little awkward on land. Not quite as gorgeously finned as the other one, but more like shark-like, with the single fin taking up the majority of their back. They're wearing rather simple clothing, tightly fitting, and they flop over to you, dripping water, and... Ah, you taking the carriage, then?
Wait, who's you?
He's just speaking to, like, Kess.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, if you and your companions that are taking the carriage wish to come with me, we will set it up and have you on your way.
Sybil says, "Goodbye, macaroni noodle, I love you." And then goes to join the carriage folk.
Clive is going to acquire Boon wherever he wandered off to and fall after.
Yeah, Boon had been, like, pawing at the water trying to get Macaroni Noodle's attention, but Macaroni Noodle was focused on the pats. And the Triton helps you guys into your seats, and it's kind of a tight fit, but not overly so. It's like when you're taking a road trip in a car that is it's a two-door car, so it's a little, a little tight, but not overly so. And the Triton wanders around and touches the four corners, and you guys see a thin, translucent barrier come up around you guys. And the sound from the outside world gets shut off a little bit. And the person knocks on the bubble with a dum 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 dum. They wave to you and give you a thumbs up.
Sybil gives a very nervous wave.
Clive waves back
This
and
is
makes
like
himself comfortable.
When they strap you into a roller coaster.
Kinda, yeah.
It's more like my mother right before a flight.
yeah. And he wanders off and gets up behind you guys, and you feel the carriage jerk a little bit. And then there's a gradual decline where you head towards the water, and as you go towards the water, it picks up speed until you hit the surface with a splash. There's a moment where the carriage floats before it starts sinking, and you guys watch the water slowly come up around you guys.
I feel like
The
I should have
money-
given Sybil the worry stone.
The money on Sybil's shoulders just gives her a pat.
Oh, Sybil pats the money back.
Sir Neville's has scooched in a little bit and is next to you, Cass.
Kess is like, I just imagined her kind of like hunched over and like looking a little too big for the
Yeah,
small space.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Which is why he sat next to you, because it gives you more room to sit. And yeah, you guys slowly descend down until the water is completely around you guys. And those of you mounts look over and you see this. And you guys look out, and it's a little distorted through the bubble, but you see your friends kicking around on their mounts. You see Maria and Nave doing slow barrel rolls through the waves.
Oh god, I
Kess,
love it.
Kess sighs, lamenting.
I'll say that now that Minnow's like under the water, her fin hair thing has gone up, and she has like a rockin' gigantic mohawk
Oh my god.
for hair.
Hell yes!
Sick,
Yep.
yeah.
Now that she's on
Meanwhile, Mario's braid is trying to strangle her for the 4th time.
Minnow's just graceful and everyone else is just like...
Yeah.
And so the carriage begins to propel itself slowly. It is a much slower pace than what the mounts can clearly go at. And once the mounts see the carriage start to go, they stop playing around and start following. And there's a time where you're all just kind of drifting in a bottomless blue abyss. There's nothing around you save for the ocean and a dim light coming from deeper down into it.
Maria's more
Minnow.
comforted by this than she should be, I think.
Knave, Maria, and Minnow, it is like you're weightless in a void. Those of you in the carriage, it feels a lot like flying. Yeah.
Sybil has her head in her hands, elbows on her knees.
Clive is trying to like look out any windows to the carriage and just kind of. He's not super excited. He's just like, "Whoa, this is cool. This is
The
neat."
the carriage is open. There's just a bubble around you guys, so it's one big window.
Oh wait, they're not sitting; they're standing.
No, you're sitting, but like
So it's not like a. It's not like a. It doesn't have a roof.
No.
It's an
No
open
roof.
top, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Clive's just taking it all in.
Navori's flapping her wings out of instinct. Weightless in the void.
So you guys continue on for what seems like hours almost, or minutes, depending on how much fun you're having. And suddenly the light beneath you kind of comes into focus. And you are met with a vibrant display of colors that practically burst out around you as you clear past whatever layer of water that was completely obscuring this. And it is just this gorgeous coral reef that's surrounding you on all sides. Sea life flirting and flitting through the anemones and the rock faces. Everything continues on as you go on through this landscape that you continue down through a canyon through the center of this. You see other Triton atop various mounts moving around, clearly going places. By now, the sun above you has gotten pretty dim as you get deeper and deeper. Sir Neville's is happily kicking his feet and, "Oh, I do love this sight. It never gets old." And you continue down through this sweeping coral landscape. You see some alien-looking creatures moving around, some eels sticking out of rocks, snapping back as you guys get close. Various fish coming up to those of you on mounts and pecking up at you, kind of exploring what you are. Other fish are coming to the carriage, swimming around it and bumping up against it. Like they're trying to get to you guys to see what's up, but are the barrier hits them away.
First of all.
Looks like he wants to get him.
It's like seeing a squirrel through the window.
The money has stood up on Sybil's shoulder and is putting his two paws on the curve of the bubble. He's just staring.
Intimidating
I
the
don't know
fish.
what for.
Yeah.
The rays are slowly doing turns, taking sharp turns, almost like they know that it's more entertaining than just going straight. The seahorse doesn't have much in the way of tricks. Clearly the more practical mount.
It's just enjoying themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, they're just up there doing loop-de-loops like a pair of idiots, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a dignified fettuccine. Okay?
You go deeper until the sun is practically not hitting you anymore. It's little more than a pale dot in the distant sky above you. Beneath you is still kind of a bottomless abyss, despite the fact that you are surrounded by coral mountains. And as you continue down, there is another light at the bottom of this chasm. And it slowly gets brighter. And slower as the carriage and the mounts both start to slow down. And then in the distance, you see a building come into view. It's still distant. And beneath that building, it has very sharp, sweeping architecture. And there's like a path set out in the front of it as you begin to draw close. Ow, shit. There are pillars of this golden material sticking up with lights swirling around it. A single red causeway almost, flanked by what look like giant teeth or spikes leaning in towards the center of it. And the carriage slows down and starts approaching that sort of, what's it called? Runway. I don't know why this looks familiar.
I do.
Why?
It's like that Final Fantasy place under the water.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. It's not what it is, but yeah, I can see it.
I mean, that's what it looks familiar to me.
I mean, I don't think that idea came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Final Fantasy didn't come up with that, I don't think.
No, I would hope not.
Yeah.
And you slowly approach and you see this building kind of come into view as a palace with that harsh architecture with hard spikes reaching up into the water. And as you get closer, you guys on the mounts feel the mounts kind of come up to the edge of something. And there are stables in view now. They are not made out of wood. They are made out of a rock-like material that you can't quite identify at a glance. Minnow, you know that it's coral. And there are tritons swimming around near the edge of it. And the carriage approaches those stables and then goes a little bit further. And suddenly, the carriage is in air, no longer in the water. It's a little bit of a jarring experience as the carriage comes to a very hard and sudden jolt, like a plane landing.
Oh.
And slowly the bubble around you starts to peel away as you are left within a much larger bubble that seems to surround this city that now stands before you.
Oh my god, are we good?
Oh, yes, we're good. We have arrived.
Okay.
I do love that approach. Those of you on the mount.
Sybil has not looked at anything. Her eyes are closed the whole time.
Those of you on the mounts are wordlessly helped by the Triton that are manning the stables. They swim over to you guys and gently take the reins out of your hands and kind of shepherd you off the mounts before taking them over into the stables.
When Navori pats Stingbolt, she, like, very low-key gives him, like, blessing of the trickster, just as, you know, I love you. You're a great creature.
Okay. And yeah, you guys are sort of left to fend for yourselves to move the last, like, 50 feet into the bubble.
Cool.
So...
Navori just swims.
Yeah. And when you guys approach the edge, it's like you're almost forced to stand. Like your body is righted up, and as you move forward, it's like something kind of just gently pushes you through the bubble until you're standing on the dry land, which is sand still, and you guys are dripping.
Prestidigitation.
Yep, that mohawk is gone and the scene hair is back.
Oh my god!
Navori goes over to Maria and is like, "Hey, can you give me a hand with that?"
Yes, absolutely. And does the same. And looks at Minnow as though offering.
Oh, I'm alright, thank you. And she is happy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she might like this.
She does like this.
Yeah, and now you guys are left here. Those of you in the carriage are still in the carriage. You're not really shooed out of it, but Sir Neville hops out and hits the sand with a ha! Oh, I do love coming here so much. It's so nice.
It is very lovely.
Boon has leapt out of the carriage and is kind of pacing around the sand, sticking his face into it and sniffing.
Gotta get them smells.
Yeah.
New plane smell.
Yeah.
Navori goes over to Cass. and
Yes,
just
hands her her stuff.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Basically, she just kind of straps on all her bags and puts on all her knives, but kind of shoves her other stuff in, one of her bags, just in case they gotta go in the water again. And she likes an excuse to be barefoot.
How about you guys in the carriage?
Yeah, Clive is hopped out after Boon.
Okay.
He's kind of just looking around and watching Boon do his thing.
Cass and Sybil.
Yeah, Cass gets out of the thing, and
Okay.
she's going wherever she gotta go.
Okay.
Sybil follows, but she's not doing too great.
Sir Neville's goes, right, off to the Adventurers Guild. We will be heading into the city proper now. Do follow. And he kind of kicks his heels and starts trotting into the city proper.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We represent.
Oh my god! No!
You guys
Sybil
had-
kind of crab walks for a sec, like it's like she's not certain that they're on solid ground, but she gets over it.
Yeah, Navori goes over to Sybil and sort of pats her on the shoulder and is like, "You alright?"
No,
Do you want to borrow your wordy stone back?
no,
You still want to hold on to the money.
no, take them. Take the money.
The money leaps off of you, Sybil, and lands on you, Navori, and quickly notices you don't have places to hide.
Well, I mean, she kind of does, but it's all sort
It's
of
not the same.
sticking out of her bag, yeah.
Yeah, so he just drapes himself around your neck.
She pats him.
He leans up and just kind of nibbles on your cheek. And it's not too long before you are walking on stone. The sand is left behind you, and behind you is just that reddish sand road that led to the stables. And in front of you is now the city of Dewhurst. It is a large city from what you can see, stretching out incredibly far, not like Sigil quite, but the horizon is quickly swallowed up by cityscape, which is a lot of the same architecture that the palace that looms overhead has. It's a lot of smooth buildings until you reach the ceilings that are arched up very harshly. And all you see walking the streets are Triton. And they are very colorful people. Minnow is one of the least ostentatious that you actually see as you wander through the streets following Sir Neville's. And occasionally they stop to look at you guys kind of strangely before shrugging and heading back on whatever duties they were doing.
Cass looks at every single one that looks at them.
which is usually when they look away.
Clive, if any of them make eye contact with Clive, he just gives them a wave.
Yeah, Navori kind of does that too.
Howdy, partner.
And you guys continue heading into the city. It is like most cities now that you're within it, actually. There are various shops and food places, and while the smells are very different than Sigil, everything kind of has a fishy taint to it. It's recognizable in a way. And soon, Sir Neville's brings you guys to a very large building with 2 front double doors, and with the symbol, the Adventurers Guild symbol, emblazoned onto the spot above the door. Well, let us go in, and this will be where you get paid and we part ways. It has been a pleasure traveling with you. And, miss, he walks over to you, Sybil, and gives your shirt a little tug.
Yeah?
If you need to vomit, it's quite understandable. It's a little unnerving being here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll find a place appropriate for vomit.
Good. I just wanted to assure you that it's not... Well, it is frowned upon just to vomit in the streets, but it's quite fine to do it in private.
Is there any way that I can vomit privately and discreetly?
Oh, well, the Adventurers Guild here has rooms, much like the one in Sigil.
Big old vom room.
Alright.
The Adventure Guild Vomitorium.
Sybil goes to the vomitorium.
Okay, well, you head into the Adventurers Guild quickly after being told that, and you are greeted with a similar sight to what you saw in, or what you normally see in Sigil. It's decorated differently, but it's a guild hall nonetheless, where there are many, many tables set up, and a desk towards the back that has that glowing board against it. And while there are people sitting around of various stripes and races, by and large it is Triton. This is a very homogeneous city, it seems like.
Well, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sybil doesn't want to be noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
So, but she's not. Her mind's. She's of a mind divided. So, she tries to turn into a tiny seahorse, but it's just a JPEG of a seahorse.
Yeah. I was gonna say. Okay.
And that's just what happens when she runs to go find a place to upchuck. There's just a JPEG of a seahorse.
I imagine it's slightly out of proportion too.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a small one.
I mean, she's seen one all of once now.
When it turns
It may look a little
like
more like a pasta noodle.
Yeah.
Fancy rigatoni noodle.
It's going to attract
just
more attention.
It's just a JPEG of a pasta noodle.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The weird pasta noodle. You guys see it, just this thing that isn't moving bolt past you.
Navori just starts dying of laughter. Like, what the fuck?
And it's the same picture from all sides too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A poorly textured polygon zips past us.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh my god.
And Sybil, you swiftly notice that this layout is exactly the same, and you know exactly where to go to
Cool.
find the room. And you go up, and you practically run into the walls trying to find where to activate the room. But you find it and vanish into one of the rooms, where you vomit loudly.
She'll prestidigitation it up. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like one of those animes where she vomits up a rainbow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bleh.
Actually, no.
God, I can see Sybil doing that too.
Me too.
It being like, I've got to puke, but it cannot look like
It
vomit.
just comes up like Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
And it smells like them too.
Wow.
Oh my god. That's
Stars and
unsettling.
rainbows.
Or stars and rainbows.
I'm so endeared and I don't know why.
Because if we could all have that power, we would use it.
It's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Make your vomit smell like Lucky Charms and make your fart smell like lavender. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh man.
Meanwhile, the rest of you guys, having seen that weird macaroni noodle go flinging past you guys.
Maria feels like it's some indication of personal growth that this doesn't perturb her any longer. It's just Sybil. She just feels sympathy for Sybil now.
The rest of you guys see another Triton working behind the desk. This is clearly a Triton male. He is elegantly dressed with a long flowing robe that seems like it's coming out of his fins. He too is sort of finned out like a clownfish with the same coloration. Starting in his fins, his skin is the kind of normal slate gray color that you see in a lot of Triton. Oh god. And he looks out at you guys as you are the only ones entered. And he lifts a hand in greeting as Sir Neville wanders up and, hello, sir. Hello. And the gentleman tips his head and, yes, hello. Oh, are you Danon? Yes, I am the guild proprietor here. I am Danon. And who might you be? And, oh, I am Sir Neville's. Adanya approved a job to have these adventures, and he gestures back to you guys.
Oh, Maria will come up with the plate. She's got the plate.
Ah, yes, see? She has the marker. To escort me here, and I would like to mark the job as complete for them. They did a commendable job. And Danon just nods and, right, well, you've my thanks. And I will see that you get paid. And he takes the plate from you and turns to do something with it. It's a different process than what you see from Ardania. He kind of has to settle it against a pillar. It's sort of like a CD rack, where he has to put it in, and you see it briefly glow, and there's kind of like a lag time almost before it pulses once, and he goes, ah, it has been acknowledged then. And he turns and, right, 100 gold for the effort.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And Sir Neville's goes, yes, thank you much. And as I promised, a tip. And reaches in and takes out 5 gold. Buy yourself something nice with it.
I love it. It was a very enlightening and pleasant journey, Sir Neville's.
Yes, thank you. And, if you wish to view the Temple of the Depth Watcher, do seek me out. I will be staying here for the next few days, and I will not decline company. Though it won't be part of the guild, I'm afraid.
Excellent. Good to know.
Thank you, and farewell for now. And he turns and trots off. And Danon looks at you and, well then, Boon's bounty. I see you're missing one. Did she not take the trip well then?
Yes, I think she's recovering.
Oh, you mean the pasta noodle?
Yes, the pasta noodle.
Yes.
Yeah, she's fine.
Excellent. Well, as I'm sure you're aware, you have full facility guild here in the Plane of Water at your service. We are one of the larger establishments across the plains, as this has been a long-standing establishment with a pleasant diplomatic relationship with Sigil. If you've need of anything, do let me know. Otherwise, you are at your leisure, and I hope you have a nice stay here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He dips his head and goes to doing the things that you've seen Ardania spend way too much time doing. It seems that this work is the same work across the plains, man. So, what are you guys doing now?
Do you want me to split the money up, or should I put it in the kitty?
I mean, let's not do that to the money.
Oh, wrong the money. I meant the
Okay.
escort money.
Sure.
Stop. Mario's saving up for a wild night in Sigil.
I mean, Sybil knows a guy.
She'll hook you up.
Yeah, so what are you guys doing?
That is a question. Navari
Yes.
kind of looks at Minnow.
Sybil comes back in time for this conversation.
Okay. Because Minnow is just about to suggest finding Sybil.
She's back.
Yeah.
She's here.
No longer a JPEG.
She looks kind of like a sickly green.
Oh no.
And whether that's a conscious decision on her part or not is entirely up for debate.
Navari pats Sybil's shoulders again. Like, you're okay, buddy.
Hey guys, what are we doing?
Deciding that very thing.
Hmm? Are you gonna be alright?
Yeah.
Need to get you a beer or something?
And Sybil, like, looks like she might vomit again.
Oh no.
Maybe, like, some bread would be better.
Let's just focus on the objective. What's the objective?
Well, I think to find something that may be causing a suspicious amount of strife. Probably
A side-
related to the cultists.
Hmm.
And a side objective we could try to find is a Thieves Guild spy.
I mean, do we really want to?
That wouldn't be too hard. I could probably, Sybil just does a bunch of hand gestures that don't mean anything.
I mean, we make it obvious and loud enough that we're looking for him. Chances are they'll find out.
As well as authority on the streets, that would certainly.
I think perhaps we might be better off going through any channels Minnow might have first. In terms
We
of,
going to your parents' house?
well, if she's going to bring us.
It is an option. They do have the intel, and I'm not sure how much they would share, but it's an option.
I mean, if you were gonna do this yourself, and, you know, you're like, hey, these fucking cultists, there's a thing that's gonna destroy all the planes, where should I go first? What would you do? I mean, you know this place way better than all of us.
Of course. But, I suppose I would go to my family first.
Then let's go to your family.
So...
Yes, Sybil?
I'm really good at pretending not to be me. Do you think your family would tell someone, you know? Sybil makes some more gestures that don't fucking mean anything. She leans to the right and the left, like that indicates her train of thought.
Are you asking if someone would recognize who you are if you were disguised?
No one would, because I'm great. What I'm saying is, could we fabricate an identity, or could I just be someone else?
Why?
You're fine as you
Says
are. You're fine as you are. The struggle I'm having is that I haven't been given any of the I've. She, like, shrugs a little bit before saying, for as long as I've been involved, I'm not sure how sensitive this is.
Well, it's just now become everyone else's problem as well. Perhaps that will be leverage.
Indeed. On behalf of the Adventurers Guild, perhaps.
Yes.
No. Yes.
I think that would be a wise approach. We are, in fact, on behalf of the Adventurers Guild.
I mean, depends how much credulence they have here. You know, like, are they looked down as, like, ruffians that just perpetuate violence, or are they more respected here?
I mean, I think we also need to take into account that, like, this is a little wide scope for a lot of people to consider. And the only reason I'm even considering it is because I ain't got shit better to do.
Well, we're not proposing a solution, but we are sort of looking for the problem.
Well, we're getting nothing done sitting here and talking about.
Yeah, Nabori just kind of shrugs.
You know,
She's not gonna make this decision.
if you think your family would be receptive to seeing us and perhaps answering questions, why don't we try that avenue first?
Yes. She looks like she is really, like, both happy to be here and, like, stoked to see her family again, but at the same time incredibly nervous about it. So she's trying to be still with it. And not helpful.
Alright, so you guys heading out to meet Minnow's family then?
No, boy.
Yeah. As Sybil goes, she's like, I guess I could lie and say that I'm like the squire of Ober. Oh, I guess that's not a lie. That's just her train of thought.
You guys head out to the streets, and Minnow, you know your family lives in the palace. Which looms high and over the city at all times, ostentatiously crafted to be visible and a reminder of the power of the ruling family over the city. And you take to the streets to lead the group there. It's very easy to get there, as nearly all roads lead to the palace. As you guys approach, you do notice that it's larger than it appears at a distance, as most buildings tend to be.
Hang on. When does the party realize that they are going to the palace?
Sybil doesn't.
Okay.
I mean...
It doesn't occur to Clive until they get pretty close.
Till the shadow of the building hangs over.
Yeah, Sybil doesn't realize until they're at the fucking gates, dude.
Nabori isn't surprised because Minnow has indicated before that she...
Yeah, and Maria doesn't necessarily grasp the consequence. It's a big house.
So is Kess the one that's like, oh shit?
I guess Cass is the only one who's like... She pulls up short for a second. And she's like there's a solid minute where she's not moving and she's looking at the palace and she's looking at the back of Minnow's head, and then she's like, oh, to herself and continues walking. And that's when everything to do with Minnow kind of clicks in her mind. She's just like, oh.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
And you see as you get closer that there's no fence around the palace or anything. It's just the sheer wall that is blue with golden waves painted into the blue. It's like an inverse of what a lot of these kind of paintings would be. Instead of the blue being the waves and the gold being the sky, it's the opposite. And Minnow, you have to lead them around to find the massive gates that stand very tall and like two giant pillars with a large beam hanging overhead.
Hey, Minnow.
Hmm?
Your family lives in the palace?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Wow. What do you do?
I have trained to be a soldier in the house. This is not... well, we're under a house. And that would be House Linowith. But, my family is more the military might. So, where I'm not studying, I've been training. And what you've seen in the battlefield is, all that.
Sybil is having a hard time processing this. She's not emotionally distraught, it's just a lot of math.
Navori
So,
weirdly... Oh, sorry.
So, like, you had to... Sybil, like, makes the motion of, like, hitting a lance. She's like, so you had to fucking... Wait, oh, shit, I can't curse in the palace, can I? Damn it, I'm sorry.
Snickers?
You had to, like, translate all of that fight into Len? That's impressive.
Oh, thank you. Guess I never really thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine it makes the difference. The fact that you can... I mean... Wow.
Oh, please.
Wow!
Please.
No, you should be proud of yourself. I'm gonna brag about you. I'll be so embarrassed.
She just has that uncomfortable gammon smile on it. Doesn't know how to take it, because boy, is she feeling the shadow of that building right now. But, yes, I would ask to refrain from any crass language. By the by. But,
From everyone, or like just your mom and dad?
I think she's saying to be on our best behavior while we're in.
Okay, I'll try.
Optimal, yes.
Navori's pursing her lips like she's trying to decide if she wants to be super well behaved.
Sudden flashback to Cass. Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. Don't say what not to do.
Yeah.
Shit. But yeah, gonna keep on going to lead the way in stride.
Okay.
Sybil's gonna kind of costume change into something more reminiscent of a bee as she mutters, "No cursing, no cursing."
You pass through the gates unharassed. There are no guards or anything. In fact, there are never any guards at the gates. The gates are pretty much free to pass through. And as you do so, the front of the palace has like a lawn in front of it. And as you walk through the lawn, you do see large gardens and strange sorts of plant life that's not identifiable at a glance. It doesn't look like any kind of plants that would thrive on the surface, though.
Is this where the slugs live?
Stray ones, yes. Sometimes.
Stray slugs.
And as you approach, you find your way to the bottom of a set of very large stairs that lead up to where you do see a pair of guards standing next to a large doorway. these guards are wielding weapons much like Minnow's, Naginata, wearing armor that's sort of like Minnow's, but more tight-fitting and looks heavier in some ways. And they don't seem to be looking down at you guys as you're at the bottom of the stairs.
Devari kind of squints, and then she casts Disguise Self, and she actually looks sort of cleaned up, like she might actually belong in a noble house, which is really weird that she actually knows how to like make herself look like this. But she's still kind of squinting and pursing her lips like she's deciding if this is really what she wants to do, but she just, she goes with it for now.
Maria just straightens her fur collar.
As you guys ascend the stairs one by one, the guards finally do look down at you guys and them stand a little bit straighter until they hoist their naginatas up a little bit more. And as you reach the platform that they're on, that leads straight to the door, they halt! State your business!
I'm another Zarahath. I've been returned home. I wish to speak with my father.
The one that hasn't been speaking smiles and... Miss Daharath. I welcome you back to the Grand Palace. Your father has been searching for news of you for some time now.
She looks confused by that. There's a flicker of confusion with that, but she nods. Does she know the guard's name?
Make a history check, since it's been a little bit of time.
Oh god. A 5. I love that.
You cannot put a name to the face.
Well, I dare not worry him a moment longer.
Please identify your guests before we give you entry, Lady Daharath.
Sybil stands straighter and tries to look very important.
This would be the members of Boon's Bounty from the Adventurers Guild. We have Sybil Harker, Namori, Lady Kess, Grand Marshal Maria, and Clive, and Boon.
Maria looks so confused every time she says that.
I can't believe it's followed.
It's really good. I love it.
Yeah.
No one's ever corrected her.
Nope.
Maria's like, am I? Does she know?
Right, excellent. You and your party may enter now, Lady Daharath. I advise you proceed directly to the quarters and seek out your father.
Thank you.
They stand out of your way a little bit and give you passageway into the palace.
She looks back with raised brows and on in.
Stepping in, you are greeted with a lavish entrance to the palace. It is a massive hallway with a large statue of some sort located about halfway in. It seems like it's difficult to identify the statue from where you're at. It looks sort of like a fish of some sort. Off to the sides are a number of doorways that clearly lead to something or another. And off towards the back you see a massive set of 2 doors. And by massive I mean 100 to 200 feet tall, 50 to 60 feet wide. And Minnow, you know that's where the royal family stays.
Okay.
It's namely the audience chamber,
Okay.
but also the entrance to where you can get to the royal quarters. Your quarters or your families, are off to the right and up a few doors. And you lead the group through this palace, stepping around several attendants that are milling around. You guys see Triton youths, some carrying books, looking down, reading them clearly. Others playing with wooden weapons as they dance back and forth through the hallways. Clearly a bit more rowdy than typical Minnow.
Do they see anyone that clearly looks like staff in the palace?
Yeah, there's a lot of attendants walking around, people in tightly fitted clothing that is the same blue and gold color as the palace itself. And they're very clearly attendants and people and like staff, as some are carrying dishes, others are carrying what is clearly laundry.
Can I make a
Ori-
slug check?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Oh my god.
Check for slug. 11.
You look around, not sure what to look for precisely. You know there's something you want to see.
Yeah.
And off to the side, you see a small child sitting on a bench with what it looks like a very colorful slug. Let me get you a picture.
Yes, good.
Does it meow?
I imagine it murps.
Oh, yes.
There.
Oh my god!
Yes! Oh my god. It's
Are you
beautiful.
need a branch?
I love nudie branches.
They're great.
And it's just sort of slurping around on this kid's lap as he's laughing and poking at it. It makes little noises.
Aw.
Sybil is gonna just like tug at whoever's closest sleeve and try not point at the slug, but certainly try to discreetly draw attention to the fact that there is a slug.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
After Navori's done giving the staff knowing, sympathetic glances, she looks over at the slug and is like, "That's really neat."
I don't fucking know what it is. Wait, damn it.
What?
It took me a minute. She's trying her
Yeah, it
hardest.
took a minute too.
Contain the swears.
Yeah, Navori just whispers, "I know, it's really fucking hot."
Oh my god.
They're whispering, it's fine.
Miss.
Navori covers her mouth.
Can
Giggle.
can I see if Minnow hears?
Yeah, absolutely.
Please.
Make a perception check.
Okay.
Two kids dicking around in the back of class.
Absolute rascals.
An 8.
I mean, yeah, you can still hear them.
There's just a heavy sigh. But
Sybil immediately shuts up.
Yeah, despite what Navori's saying, she's actually carrying herself more like one of the staff. It's kind of weird, but she's got that sort of I have a presence here kind of feel that's not like I'm a fucking street kid.
I know, Minnow's just like rigid. She
Oh.
is trying to be all stoic and noble, but she must howl as they continue. Would her siblings' corners be away?
What was that? Sorry.
Would her siblings' corners be allowed?
Well, you're not quite to your family's quarters yet. You're heading the hallways that were there.
Oh, sure.
But you would know the way to them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it's not like a passing thing as they're going, then they do have a duty, so she'll wait.
I mean, it's certainly passing. You don't know where your father is necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but once you enter your quarters proper, I mean, it's kind of up to you what you go looking for. But you have to get there first.
Yes, of course.
So you guys continue moving through, and you enter a smaller hallway that Minnow leads you through. Minnow, you're walking confidently. You know exactly where you're going. The rest of you guys end up being swarmed by kids every once in a while. The deeper in you get, the more
No.
rowdy things are.
This is
And Minnow,
adorable.
you glean from how rowdy things are that today is the day of rest, in which the kids do the opposite.
Aha.
Yes.
And people or various kids stop to look at you guys before giving everyone wide-eyed looks. Cass, a few of them stop and stare at you.
She's gonna turn her helmet on.
Oh my
Nice.
And run off. Others go, cool!
God.
She's weeding out the weenies.
Oh my god.
Only the strong may gaze upon Kess.
Most of the kids look a bit more frightened of Boon than Cass.
No.
Big fur monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But eventually you guys come to a door that Minnow pauses outside of. Minnow, this is the door that leads to your family's quarters proper. Opening it, you find yourself greeted with a very nostalgic surroundings. It's a simple wooden hallway. More simple than you guys might anticipate for someone that lives in the palace, but it is what it is. There are wooden screens, or thin wooden screens that separate some of the rooms from, with doors built into them, but the screens leave enough room for light so you can see silhouettes. And in some cases you see people clearly speaking, you cannot overhear them. And Minnow, this is where you can choose to stop by your siblings' quarters or continue heading in to the war room, which is where your father and brother do a lot of planning, or your own room, which is fairly close to your siblings' room. It's all kind of on the way back to the war room. The bedrooms and the quarters are located towards the front of the area that you guys call home.
Okay. Well, duty calls as she do. As much as she, gives her sister's door, a very wanting look. She's gonna press on quietly, lighten her steps, and gesture everyone else to follow to head for the war room.
Okay. Minnow, you lead them through these hallways that quickly open up into a larger room where you see several plants potted around. This looks like kind of a central sitting room with various benches set up. The ceiling is broken open into the equivalent of a skylight that looks up into the sky above the palace, where you can see the waves are shifting and things are swimming way above the barrier that separates the ocean from the city. A single or a handful of trees reach up, pushing into the sides of the quarters. And there are a few people sitting around, cousins of yours, Minnow, that give you sidelong looks as you walk past, giving your companions an even longer sidelong.
Sybil maintains eye contact with at least two people. I feel like that's enough to maintain eye contact in passing.
Roll intimidation.
Roll
Oh my God.
intimidation!
They're weenies, yes.
Yes, helps.
Okay,
gonna
then do
use
it with
luck.
advantage. Do it with
Oh.
advantage.
Okay. I'm gonna use luck.
Okay.
23.
Both of
Better.
them, you catch the eyes of two younger individuals. It's difficult to tell their gender, as they're wearing very long, thick robes and they have very youthful faces. But they give you a look, and when you look back, they kind of hunch their shoulders, and then Cass, you turn to look, along with Sybil, and they go, and look
I
down at their
want
books
to-
very quickly.
I want to say that in terms of posture and like expression, Sybil is like channeling half Titania, half Oberon right now.
Oh my god. Nice.
Okay, so it's flamboyantly chilly.
Yes.
Imperiously
Imperiously flamboyant.
Yeah.
Imperiously dramatic.
Minnow, you feel eyes just on you from all places now, and while it's not actually what's happening, as there's not that many people moving around, you feel the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And with a straight back, you finally come to the single largest door in this living area. It's still not large, but it's big enough for several men to fit through side by side. And from beyond, in the pale light that comes from somewhere in the room, you can see the outlines of a larger Triton man wearing clearly wearing armor with a long fin. And, hold on. I actually need to pull this up. Mostly so I describe it right. There he is. And then you see another clear outline of a man, built strong, but with a much smaller fin. Cut simply with more elegant looking armor from the silhouette. You hear the two men arguing. It's not loud enough for you to hear anything, but you hear the quiet rumble of two men used to being in charge, finding that they're not in charge of each other.
Okay, she will still stay in the doorway, but audibly clear her throat.
Oh.
I
want to listen in.
Oh no, she's still, she's with the party still.
The two voices continue to argue. Do you want to listen in?
Get an eavesdrop?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, all of you
Hell
have
yeah.
perception checks.
Noisy as fuck.
Oh my god, a natural 21 is my life!
Hot damn. Yes.
All right.
Keeping that fin out.
So, Minnow, you recognize this argument.
Oh, good.
And it's your brother, Neldas, and your father arguing over who should lead a charge. You know, it's your father demanding he be in charge, and not because he wants to save his son's life, but because he demands the glory. The rest of you guys here, or Navor, Clive, and Kess, you also hear this. And from your angle, as kind of an unbiased party, you hear a passionate argument between two individuals that, again, are used to being in charge, but finding they're not in charge of each other. The younger voice is making the case that it's his turn to be looked upon with favor, and his father has had his own time, and he needs to learn to share, old man.
Devori has this expression like she's absolutely fucking used to this bullshit. Kind of different context, but you know.
Yeah, if you could see Kess's face, she would have a similar expression.
So what are you guys doing?
Thinking about slugs.
Listening to ambient water sounds.
Kess reaches over Minnow's head and knocks on the wooden door. And then draws her hand back and claps Minnow on the shoulder.
Ah, the most comforting gesture.
It's like your coach slapping you. Get in there.
Get in there, slugger.
Yeah.
The voice is quiet. Before you hear a deep voice. Enter.
And then I was gonna step in. Huh?
I was gonna say Tess just gestures and after you.
Boy, does she hopefully follow, but yeah, she heads in.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean Tess is following.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shuffling
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
When Minnow opens the door, you see a man that looks like Minnow in a lot of ways, but bulkier, and with a shorter cut fin and eyebrows that look like he's never smiled once in his life.
Can I just do something? Just.
Oh,
Can
God.
I make it so that the door sound opening is louder and there's just a gentle breeze blowing everyone's clothes back?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
And you guys see another man, much taller. And this is actually the first time you've seen an older Triton. And he looks regal in his old age. He has a very square jaw and is very tall and very, very well built. He's wearing armor that looks more like what Minnow typically wears, loose but made for protection. He has very strong, high features, and you can see where Minnow gets a lot of her features from, just at a glance from this man. Very long face. And Minnow, your father looks over at you, and you see his lips turn up just slightly.
No.
And that's where we're ending for the night.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
Damn.
Wait, did he have wrinkles? Does he get fish wrinkles?
Yeah.
I have a picture for you.
Huh? Oh.
Yeah.
I'll share.
Yeah. Yes, please
Oh,
do.
yes.
There's Pops
Hey.
Oh, I
It's
remember this.
Pops, yeah.
Yeah.
and Shorty brother, who's older than
Oh
her.
my god. I love it.
He
Oh, I
hates
love
and
this
he hates
armor.
Yep. Yep.
Darn.
Yep. Alright, yeah, that's where we'll pick up next weekend.
Alright.
Kill the stream!
Yeah.
1 second.